Blog Talk Radio.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Let's Talk Jets Radio. This is one of your hosts, Tyson Roush, and boy, do we have a show for you tonight. I know Joe probably fears this show because I've been antagonizing, I've been sarcastic, I've been fueling some fires, and they've all burned. The fires have all burned. And after I left Raiders country on Sunday, I'm enjoying a lot of things right now, Joe. So, how are you doing tonight, man?
What's going on, Ty? Listen, man, I know this is going to be a crazy show for you. You're going to go off on a bunch of people. So before you even get into it, at TRouse21, I did not say these things. I know you're going to let loose on probably a bunch of Raiders fans as well. At TRouse21, please hit him up and speak to him about the crazy things that he's going to say on this show. But listen, I'm the man of the people. I'm here for the people. Let me shamelessly promote our Facebook page. Everyone go on Facebook, search Let's Talk Jets Radio. Like that page. Our content's up there. Go ahead and give it a listen. Message us. We'll message you right back. We love going back and forth with folks about this football team. Also, leave us some feedback. We love hearing about what you folks think we do here on Let's Talk Jets Radio. So without further ado, Ty, let's go ahead and get into the show, man. I'm fired up.
Oh, yes. I'm very fired up for this one. As always, Instagram and Twitter, at Talk Jets Radio. YouTube, Let's Talk Jets Radio. And we want to thank everybody that watches our videos on YouTube and interacts and leave comments. And there's a lot of people from all across the world. I mean, we got from Korea, England, Ireland, Australia. I mean, it's pretty crazy. So we want to thank everybody that takes time to watch these videos, interact. We're doing our best to just, leave comments and do whatever we can. But definitely want to thank everybody. It's pretty surreal, to be honest with you. I never thought we'd get this kind of this kind of volume. It's pretty nuts. So, Joe, on Sunday, me and Mr. Primetime went to a stadium that I thought was called MetLife Stadium, but I was informed when I arrived at the stadium that I entered Raiders country. I had no idea. I thought I was in New Jersey. Apparently, I was in Oakland. No idea. I mean, I didn't know. I mean, I was surrounded by black and silver. And for hours, all I heard was how great Chucky was, and Derek Carr's great, and Adam Gase sucks, and the Jets blow, and this is our town, my town, Raiders this, Raiders that. And I couldn't, dude, they were talking so much trash. I thought this was the John Madden Raiders. I thought, I was waiting to see, Tim Brown come running out, and Marcus Allen, and all these great Raiders. I'm like, oh my God, this game's going to be impossible to win. We're playing an invincible team. There's no way the Jets can win this game because they suck and we suck and they're so great. That's what I thought, Joe. I mean, this is what everybody kept telling me. The Jets are not a good team. Mm-hmm. They're not going to do this. They're not going to do that. This is all I heard all week long, all Sunday morning long, until about 1:30, 1:45. And then lo and behold, things started to change. What happened was the New York Jets put an absolute ass-beating on the Raiders. Not only did they silence the Raider fans, they silenced the Gase critics, the Sam Darnold critics, all these members in the media that are desperate for clickbait, trying to do all these little nonsense articles and same old Jets and this team sucks. In a matter of 3 hours, the New York Jets silenced about, a couple 100,000 critics. Pretty impressive, isn't it, man? Pretty impressive what they did on Sunday. And guess what, Joe?
Yeah.
In order to win 5 in a row, you got to win 3 in a row. And guess they did. They've now won 3 in a row. Did I tell you Friday night? I told you Friday night. Did I not tell you?
Yeah.
If you stop the running game, they can't beat us. The Raiders played nobody. Their fans thought they were so great. They beat nobody. And they came in like who they were. They never played good on the East Coast. Derek Carr scared of cold weather and rainy weather. Good job with that. Boom. Ass beating. Take care, Raiders.
Hey, listen. First off, again, at TRouse21, because I know you're going to say a bunch of crazy stuff about Raiders fans all throughout this show. All right? Look, the Jets came out and played a great game. I mean, wow, what a win. I said it on the, in my video after the game. It was a great win. Of course, the Raiders team, they're not invincible. They're not, the greatest team ever. But that was a good football team. Again, I watched them. I think they're a solid team. So to have us go out there and move the ball the way that we did, to have Sam Darnold go out there and look as good as he did, that's what I was thoroughly impressed by, the throws he was out there making. His movement in the pocket, him avoiding the rush, the offensive line holding up enough to give him time I thought the Jets looked really good. So, my hats are off. And Adam Gase called a solid game. Now, I won't say you necessarily silence the critics, because I think that people's criticisms of him were righteous. It's not like people were just saying things that didn't make any sense. But I think he definitely stepped up this week and called a better game than he's called probably maybe since the Cowboys game or since he's been our head coach. Some of the things that he did in this game were things that I've talked about week after week after week that he should be doing. Putting Le'Veon Bell in the slot. Hey, look how that worked out for us. Looked great, didn't it? We went to him early, often, really kept the Raiders off balance. Putting Montgomery out there with Le'Veon Bell as well, and putting them both out in the different positions, allowing them to be matchup nightmares with linebackers, using Bilal Powell a bit more, just doing stuff that we had talked about constantly. And maybe that is Sam stepping him, in that conversation that they had at his office, where basically Sam told him, hey, this offense is not working. We got to change some things up. So maybe that's also Sam's influence within the offense. But I tell you what, it looked good. And, I'm happy that the team went out there and got themselves a win. And I'm happy yet again that Sam is going out there and proving to people that he's the real deal. Because, and I understand why some fans may have felt that way. I didn't necessarily agree with them. But, because there were a lot of fans that looked at the situation and said, hey, maybe Sam's not the guy. They had questions about him. But these last couple of weeks, I think he's gone out there and really proven that he is what I've always said, that he's our franchise quarterback, and he can be the guy that's going to be around here for the next 10-plus years leading this football team and getting us wins.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing is, listen, and it's so funny how everybody's like, well, you guys bash this and you guys bash that. At 1-7, we have to give a lesson about what fans do. At 1-7, when the walls are collapsing and everything is completely miserable, as a fan, not an expert, not an analyst, we are just fans, you destroy your team because it's not acceptable. They were melting down at every level, losing winnable games, playing horrifically. Sam was going backwards. And now, since that game, at 1-7, you have to give credit to Adam Gase, Greg Williams, Sam Darnold, Jamal Adams. They faced a ridiculous amount of scrutiny and adversity in a New York market where the fan base, to the point they were flying friggin' planes, wanted everything blown up. And what they did was they ignored all the noise and said, you know what, we're going to bounce back. We're going to prove everybody wrong. And they rallied the ship. They completely changed the direction. And this is Joe. Listen, I'm not a big Gase fan, but it's impossible to not give these guys credit for overcoming all the nonsense they came. And for me, the Raiders game was the biggest proving point, because that was the game where everybody was like, oh, well, they beat two bad teams. They're facing a much better team, a physical team, a better coach team, all these things. And they laughed at it. And they blew them out of the building. I mean, the game wasn't even... Dude, I left. The end of the third quarter, I left. I'm like, I'm bored. This game is boring me. It was that bad. Mm-hmm. And like you said, Sam Darnold played amazing, the play calling. But the other thing is, we were asking for the first, half of the season, this team needs an identity. The identity is this swarming defense. A swarming defense that has two corners that, were starters. Like Millette and Bless Austin are flying around. These guys are playing at such a high level that Derek Carr was lost. He had no idea what was going on up there, Joe. Greg Williams completely confused him. So at this point, as much as a fan, when you're playing like garbage, you rip the team, you win 3 games in a row, when you're scoring 34 points a week, and you're this dominant and this impressive, it's not, you have to give credit. You got to acknowledge it and say, listen, Adam Gase has done a good job. He's rallied his team. This is what he did. Mm-hmm. And listen, it's not always going to be pretty, but you look all across the NFL. There's teams that have highs and lows. Right now, the Jets are on a hot streak, and they can rise for another couple of weeks.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing, and I think a lot of, fans or just people in general, because, again, we're just fans, but fans or people in general like to play, revisionist history and say things that, or take things out of context as well. The thing about, it wasn't just us that was bashing Adam Gase for the issues that we had earlier in the season. It was actual analysts and guys that also study tape. Hell, it was NFL players were coming out and saying, what is he doing out there? The offenses, the game planning and stuff wasn't putting Sam in a position to make plays. He wasn't helping Sam out on the field. We saw analysts say that consistently. There were, I forgot the name of the guy, but, there's multiple guys that do this, but I forgot the name of the big, I think it's Baldinger, was analyzing tape and talking about how Gase was not helping Sam in situations, was putting him in bad situations. We saw that. We talked about consistently throughout the season, how we were losing games with lack of adjustments. We weren't coming out and adjusting to what the defense was doing. We weren't changing things up in the second half of games. Hell, we got beat by a Dolphins team that is tanking. People love to forget these things like it was, like none of this stuff happened. We got beat by teams or put in positions where we lost games as well we should have never have been in. So, yeah, he's making adjustments now, which is amazing. I'm not a fan of Gaze, but he's made adjustments, and he's doing things, a lot of the things that we said that he should have been doing in week 2 or 3 or 4. He's doing them now, and that's fine. I think it's all about this, giving credit when credit is due. Okay, that's what I'm all about. I don't care who you are, and it doesn't matter who you are on the team. If you're playing bad or you're not playing up to par, as a fan or anyone else, you're going to say something. But when he steps up and he finally calls a good game, or he puts Le'Veon Bell in the slot, or he puts Montgomery out there with Le'Veon Bell as well in packages, and puts him in positions to make plays, and he calls different plays, and he adjusts like he did against the Raiders. He actually made adjustments in this game, and that paid dividends in the second half because that's when we really put them away. Because there were things that he did differently. I'm going to give credit where credit is due when he does that. That's why I said, hey, Gaze called a heck of a game. He was very solid up there. But for everyone to come out and try to play like everything was okie dokie and fine and it was just missteps here. No, there were major missteps. And we weren't even just talking about the play calling. There were coaching errors that he was making during games. Blowing through timeouts, not, having guys ready to get on the field. Remember that whole issue that he had trying to run the field goal team out there. Then he ran the offense out there. He didn't really know. He had done all that stuff. So, yeah, he was, again, everyone's criticism of Gaze were justified because it was all there. We were losing consistently, horribly. We were putting product out on the field that wasn't even good product. There were games we literally were just coming out and looking awful offensively. And so all the criticisms, again, to me were justified, but he stepped up and he's, got it going. So I just want to consistently see him keep it going and keep the momentum. But I'll tell you one guy who I think hasn't gotten enough credit. It's Greg Williams. You want to talk about adjustments? This dude has been making adjustments since week 1. He doesn't have his number 1 linebacker. He doesn't even have his number 2 linebacker, which would have been Avery Williams. He was gone in preseason. T.J. Mosley has played, 1 or 2 games, but the second game he was hurt. This guy has stepped up. He's had backup backers in there. Sometimes he hasn't even had an inside linebacker where he's had to put other guys in there, and he's been able to have this defense step up, still get a little bit of pressure, be able to hold up solidly against the run, and not get killed every single week. The defense, by far this year, has been better than the offense in most of our games. They kept us in many games, especially early in the season. They kept us in a lot of games, put us in position to make plays. This guy, Greg Williams, is calling a heck of a game on a weekly basis. And now you look at this situation, he comes up against the Raiders. What was the question we all had? Bless Austin, Millette. Can these guys step up? And Greg Williams put them in position to make plays, and those guys were out there doing their thing. I thought Bless Austin had a solid game. I thought Millette had a solid game as well. So, man, hats off to Greg Williams. This guy has really, really shown up for us as a defensive coordinator.
And the fascinating thing was Primetime's got phenomenal seats where we can see the entire field. And what's crazy was Greg Williams was actually putting Millette and Bless Austin on an island by themselves, dude. They were in man-to-man coverage, and he was like, we're gonna do our best to get to the quarterback and shut down the game, but if not, you're on an island to make plays. And, dude, I was telling the Primetime, look at this. I'm like, dude, he has that much confidence in his players where he's like, you know what? Ball out. Do what you got to do to make plays, and they're all buying in. And another guy, the corner's been phenomenal. A guy that's not getting enough credit, I think, well, obviously Brian Poole's playing very well, is Neville Hewitt, dude. Neville Hewitt is making Avery Williamson gone. Avery Williamson, I like the guy coming up injury, makes a lot of money. I think the Jets are going to have to look at bringing back Neville Hewitt because, dude, he just flies, and his passion and his energy, it's like he just works so well with Jamal Adams and Jordan Jenkins. You could see these guys are just so hungry, and they're just flying around, man. It's just so much fun to watch.
Yeah, Neville's out there doing his thing, man. And this is something that we talked about, just about him, in the preseason as well. Because remember, he was the guy that stepped up, the year before when we had a guy go out for a suspension, and Lee. He was able to do his thing and really get in there and show us something. So, Neville Hewitt stepping up in this situation has been big, man. Another guy out there flying around making plays, Marcus May. Marcus May had a lot of plays in this game. That fourth down stop, he was in on that tackle. He's knocking balls away, took a ball away from Williams in this game, kept him from catching a deep pass. So that's a guy that's flying around too. And as always, man, Jamal Adams is doing his thing as well this season.
Yeah, it is. And going back to the offense, we got a ton of people on hold. There's two guys that we got to give a lot of credit to. And the first one is Jonathan Harrison, who, he's handled this situation like a true pro. He was a starter coming into camp. The Jets decided that they wanted to upgrade the position. They bring in Ryan Khalil. Jonathan Harrison handled it like a true pro. He didn't cause any waves. Mm-hmm. He watched Ryan Khalil play like complete trash for God knows how many weeks and didn't say anything. Yep. But now he got his chance to play, and it's obvious he's very comfortable with Sam, and he's doing an admirable job, dude. Like, he's doing enough to help this offensive line. And then you add in him, and then you have Kelvin Beachum, who, listen, he's a serviceable guy who's playing with two bad ankles. I mean, the guy's playing through crazy injuries, and he's holding his own. Like, dude, it's like that workman-like attitude where, like, they're all grinding together. They're trying to fight through it together. They're all buying in. And, dude, those two guys in the offensive line are making a big difference right now.
Yeah, they are. And Doga ended up getting injured as well yesterday. I think it's an MCL, so he's going to be missing a little bit of time. But even without him out there, the offensive line was solid. Like you said, Harrison is a guy that's really stepped up. Khalil, we all saw what he gave us. We were all hoping that Gaze would bench him, but he ended up having to move on for him because he got injured. But Harrison has stepped in there and really played, pretty solidly. So he's out there really contributing. We all know Lewis is doing his thing as well, and Beachum is solid too, especially, dealing with two ankle injuries. But he's still out there, making sure that Sam doesn't get pressure put in his face. So he's playing solidly as well.
Yeah, so this was, the performance that you're going into the game, you're sitting here like, oh, man, like, you just want to see them just build off two wins. And the thing was, you always want to see how a team reacts to winning. Like, this team is 1-7, you're like, all right, they won 2 games in a row. Are they going to start feeling good about themselves and have that typical Todd Bowles letdown game where they don't even show up? And that's what you kind of worry about. Like, all right, are they going to come in here and then get blown out? And they didn't do that. And it's like, all right, credit to you that you had the eyes on the prize. And now it's like, all right, you've won 3 in a row. And now you're building on a lot. And now it's like, all right, here's your next test is don't fall flat on your face in Cincinnati. But the one thing I like the most, and almost every player in the locker room had said it, and Jordan Jenkins' comment stuck out to me the most. Jordan Jenkins is like, I'm so tired of hearing about the same old Jets from 5 years ago and 4 years ago and 10 years ago. He goes, this is none of us. He's like, most of the guys you're talking about weren't even here. It's like Le'Veon Bell wasn't here. Like half these guys weren't even here. He's like, our coaching staff wasn't here. Greg Williams wasn't here. He's like, you keep talking about how we're going to melt down and do all these things. He goes, none of these guys even know what you're talking about. And he's like, and furthermore, we don't even care. Like, we don't even, it's the furthest thing from our mind is being what you call the same old Jets or whatever else. He's like, we don't even, like it's not even what we're thinking about. And, like, the players are getting annoyed by it. Like, stop, like, associating us with everybody else. We are our own team, our own brand, going in our own direction. And, dude, that quote from Jordan Jenkins, dude, really resonated with me. I'm like, dude, that's the mindset you want finally in here.
Yeah, it is the mindset that you want. I'm glad that he's, feeling that way and saying those things. But they, got to continue to go on this season. And like I said, let the momentum follow them. Because even this year, you said it out of your own mouth. I've heard you, where there were times where there was a lot of the same old Jet stuff. We would see us melt down in certain games or not play or not make plays that we should play, critical, mental errors during football games. I mean, and I'm going to keep pointing, that Dolphins game where it was like everyone came out of there saying it's the same old Jets. And I don't necessarily use that, but I heard you say it as well. So, look, I get it, and that is the attitude that you want to have, especially going forward, but you want to keep this intensity and, like I said, keep this momentum going into this next game and we'll talk about, that Bengals game on Friday, but you go in there against the Bengals and you let up and you let that team hang around or they beat you or beat you badly, people are definitely gonna speak their mind after that game as well.
Yeah, so I mean, listen, right now it's just like I'm just happy to see it. It's like it's fun to be a Jets fan now. Like the whole thing about this season was there were so many things we wanted to see. They started out terribly, but now they're bouncing back, and it's like. If you're like, there's so many fans now. It's like, oh, well, they only won 3 in a row. Only? Like, dude, this is good. Like, at some point as a fan, you stop being like this just negative, angry, miserable person, and be like, wow, our team's playing exciting football. Like, we just scored 34 points 3 weeks in a row. Like, we never do this. And the most important thing is your young quarterback faced a ridiculous amount of adversity in New York City where people are playing friggin' Ghostbusters. They're criticizing his every move. They're making fun of him. He's got memes about him, gifs about him, all kinds of stuff about him. And what did Sam Darnold do? He shut his mouth and played great football. And he bounced back, and he silenced everybody. Like, there's no, like, it's like, how the Jet fan, now it's like, oh, well, they're going to lose next week. How about this? How about you just buy in and say, you know what? I hope they do play well. I hope they keep building on it. And for the other idiots, I'm not talking playoffs. I'm not talking Super Bowl. I'm talking, no, but dude, it's like, can't Jet fans be excited? But what, like, listen, we're 4-7. So what? As I said, they're going to win 5 in a row. Get to 6-7. And guess what, Joe? It's not a great record. Yeah. At least you can enjoy friggin' football. When was the last time we were playing meaningful games, dude? They're playing well with a quarterback that we can embrace. This is not Josh McCown and Ryan Fitzpatrick, 2 sucky-ass veteran quarterbacks. This is your young quarterback that's making a run.
Yeah. Well, and I don't call people idiots. That's your thing. I respect everybody and their opinion.
Some fans just like being miserable, dude. They like to complain about every friggin' thing. They do. It's just like, it's only they only beat the Raiders. Well, who else they play? That's it.
Yeah.
They're only going to beat the Bengals and only beat the Dolphins too for 5 in a row.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Look. Listen, at the end of the day, I can kind of understand those fans and their perspective because, they've definitely been burned in the past. Let's not act like this, franchise has gone through these ups and downs.
But it's with a young quarterback. That's the difference.
Yes, and
that's a significant difference here.
That's what I'm getting to, is that, they should, if the wins, whatever, that's great to get excited about it, great to get excited about the team, but one thing that I've always been excited about, and I've said it through the losing, through the bad times, through the anything this year, was Sam Darnold. If he comes out there and shows, progression, if he comes out there and shows that command of the offense, command at the helm, knows what he's doing, gets the ball out accurately, gets the ball out fast, and he's showing you that he can go out there and make plays, that's what we all need to be excited about, and that's exactly what we're seeing. We're seeing a guy, I'm telling you, I can't even say his name without smiling because this guy is really going out there and putting us in the best position every single week to win games. He's a guy out there wheeling and dealing. I mean, hell, there was a throw he made in this game where I was like, wow, if you don't believe in Sam, then I don't know what you believe in. But he could have ran for 20 yards because the line just kind of opened up.
He got away to Robbie Anderson.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, he threw that to Robbie. And now I'm talking, it was in a bucket. He threw it over. He threw it over a Raiders defender and, boom, just dropped it straight into a bucket in Robbie's hand. And I'm like, wow. That's feeling it. I mean, you just feeling it. I'm just going to wheel and deal right here. And everybody's just going to have to deal with it. I'm going to make this play with my arm. And that's exactly what he did. And, I mean, this is moving when he threw that football. So, and he made a lot of other plays. He made a play where they almost had him tackled in the end zone, almost had him sacked in the end zone, and he threw the ball out and got it out and made a play off of that, which should have been nothing. Most quarterbacks would have just took the sack, it would have been a safety, and that could have really have changed the momentum in this game, but he got it out. He made another throw with a guy hanging off him as well in this game. So, man, I'm just excited about Sam Darnold, what he's doing, and all the progress that he's showing in this game. So, look, I understand some fans don't want to buy in just yet. They've been burned in the past. They're really waiting to see the team step up and explode. But I'll tell you what, if you're not going to be excited about anything else, be excited about Sam Darnold and our future with him as our quarterback.
Yeah, and I'll keep saying it. The most important thing out of all of this is you're winning with young players. Like, look at Adams, May, all these young guys we're talking about. Bless Austin, Mollett, Jordan Jenkins, if you resign him. Like, dude, all these guys are going to be, Sam Darnold's going to be here. He could be here for 15 years if you want to. He's so ridiculously young. And to people start saying, well, on the play you talked about, Joe, is a perfect example. Dude, he could have ran for 15 yards. He made the throw. Yeah. People are actually criticizing him. Oh, he's got no idea. He's got to run there. Dude, he made an amazing play. Stop being so goddamn negative and enjoy it. You're allowed to enjoy Jet football. God damn, man. It's like, are you going to criticize that? The kid threw a dart, an amazing throw, and there's critics. Like, you guys just don't like football. Like, go watch something else. Go watch badminton or something. Seriously. Just go somewhere else.
Well, look, everybody's got their own opinion. I understand that, but, I'm telling you, you see that play. I get some people saying, hey, he should have ran it, but to really, get out of the way of the rush, totally escape the rush, and then just throw a dime like that to really make a big explosive play down the field. That's just something you can't take away from that. You can't take away from that type of play. So I understand people feel how they feel, but that to me was an amazing throw, and nobody should be criticizing that.
Yeah, so as we said all last week, we said this was a litmus test. This was your test for the New York Jets. This was a test for Darnold, for Adam Gase, Greg Williams. This was it. And they passed it with flying colors. So now it's like, all right, now as a fan base, we should say, okay, listen, we're giving you we're giving you support. Keep riding the wave. Like, keep stacking up wins. And the whole thing is, it's okay to be excited about things. And, Joe, I'm not talking playoffs at all. I'm talking beat the Bengals. That's it. Like, I don't care about nothing else. My focus now is 3 wins in a row, get me 4 wins in a row. And that's all we're talking about. We're not talking about nothing else. There's no need to. And that's what the players are doing. Like, if you start talking about, 3 weeks from now they're going to play the Ravens. You know what happens? You lose the other 2 games in between. So your focus is beating the Bengals and keep working on what you have here. Keep developing it. And try to stay healthy. I mean, you mentioned they have a couple more injuries. Beacham's all banged up. You got to try to keep these guys healthy and just grinding through it, man. But it's exciting. Like, I'm literally excited. Like, I can't wait till Sunday. And it's nice. It's a refreshing feeling after a couple of years of just horrible, just miserableness.
Yeah. I mean, it's always good to win games, especially and I'm going to keep saying it, especially when you have a young quarterback like Sam there. But I'm right there with you. I know a lot of people are starting to really jump off that cliff and say a lot of things, but I'm sticking with, hey, let's go week by week. We're going on to the next game, and the Bengals are next. We got to focus on that before we start talking about anything else. I know there's some fans talking about Super Bowls, stuff like that. I'm not saying any of those things. I want to see us go out there and compete and put our best foot forward against the Bengals and get ourselves a win in that game as well.
Yeah, and the last thing is, I know we have a guest coming on in a couple minutes. The last thing is, as fans, too, we should demand better from the media, too. Like, some of these articles the last couple of days about Sam Darnold and everything else, they should be embarrassed of themselves. Like, this is just pure clickbait trash. Like, the whole article about him going out and celebrating, dude, the kid, that's what he should have did. It's Sunday night. He went out with his teammates. They celebrated their birthday. They had a driver. They did everything right. And to have these articles out there or just criticizing the team or you can't be this, you can't be that, it's embarrassing. Like, the New York Post should be embarrassed of themselves. Like, you're that desperate. Like, you need clicks that friggin' bad to write those kind of articles. It's no wonder you're going out of business. It's no wonder podcasts and blogs are taking your jobs. Like, that's why. Your articles are terrible. If they want to get better, better clicks, how about this? How about do some X's and O's? How about do some fact-checking? How about write some substance? Chasing clicks get you out of a job, and that's why nobody reads it. The New York Post should be embarrassed, dude. Those articles about Sam Darnold, they should be embarrassed. It's pathetic. Get reality. This is why.
Wow.
This is why podcasts and blogs are taking over. That's why. As a fan, do you read that, Joe? When you see that, I'm like, you know what? Unfollow. I'm done with them. Pure garbage.
Man, you're at T-Rouse 21, man. You are going there.
I don't care. What are they going to do? What's the New York Post? What are you not going to follow me? I don't read them anyway. I don't care. If I want a football opinion, I'll listen to other fans. 9 times out of 10, the fans know more than the goddamn beat writers do.
Listen. Look, I
and
respect,
the best thing is, Joe, you know what's even better? They try to tell us what the pulse of the fans are. You're going to tell the fans what the fans think when you're not even a fan yourself? How does that work? Know your role, man. Damn.
Wow. Listen, I respect what they do over there. Whatever, journalist or whatever you do, that's fine. I respect what you do. But I thought those articles were a little bit ridiculous. Why are you writing articles about the guy going out and celebrating with his teammates and whatever he may have or may have not done after that? I don't really understand that. But, this is something that we talk about consistently throughout, this show. We talk about how often our beat is often our worst enemy. Some of the things they write about, we've had issues in the past with, anonymous sources left and right that really fed into a circus narrative that was going on around the team at one point, where there was just a lot of issues. So, I understand everyone has the freedom to write whatever they want to write, and, I respect, the journalism part of it, whatever you got to do and whatever you want to do as a beat writer.
That's
but
not journalism, dude. That's trash. That's just pure trash.
Okay.
And it blew up in their face.
Okay.
It blew up in their face.
Okay.
They tried to have this TMZ line. Like, they tried to be like, oh, look, Sam Darnold went out partying, tried to make this big scandal, and almost every fan's like, so what? He's 22 years old. Yeah. He's responsible. He's earned the right to do this. And I have news for you. Yeah. Every team across the NFL, when they win games, I have a newsflash. They all go out and have a good time. That's what adults do. Yeah. It's not illegal. Like, going to a bar or club is okay. It's fine.
But this isn't, like I said, though, Tyson, this isn't something new. This is something we've talked about for forever, and this is one of the reasons we talked about in the past as well. The free agents don't want to come here. It's because look what's going to happen to you. If you go out and just, have a good time, a nice night or whatever, you're gonna get an article written about you. You know what I mean? I mean, it kind of is what it is. Like I said, to me, it's nonsensical. They shouldn't have wrote that. It's a bit ridiculous, but it is what it is. I'm just happy that we got ourselves a win and that Sam looked good in the process.
Yeah, so what we're going to do now is we're going to take a little break. We're going to talk to our very special guest. Don't go back. Take all our phone calls. Plenty of people on hold, 929-477-2651. But, Joe, as everybody knows, first of all, happy Thanksgiving, everybody. That's only a couple days away. We want to wish everybody, you and your families, a very happy Thanksgiving. And as everybody knows, this time of year, a lot of families get together. You want to have a nice meal, but unfortunately, there are people in our community that can't, either can't afford meals or just can't get enough to support their family, whatever else. And the Community Food Bank in New Jersey does a phenomenal job helping those people out. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring on Nadine Rosenbaum-Lehrer. I hope I said her name right. I think I got it this time. Nadine, this is Joe Tyson. How are you?
Hey, how are you? You did say my
great.
name right. Thank you very much.
I'm getting better at this. So how are you doing tonight?
Right. So, do you want me to tell you a little bit about the Community Food Bank?
Absolutely.
Okay. So the Community Food Bank of New Jersey, we're located in Hillside, New Jersey, and we also have a location in South Jersey, right outside Atlantic City, Egg Harbor Township. The food bank will be celebrating its 45th year next year. It was founded in 1975 in the back of our founder's van in Newark, and it has grown into an absolutely phenomenal organization. Our warehouse in Hillside is 5 football fields long. And last year we distributed enough food for 50 million nutritious meals. There's about, in New Jersey at any time, 900,000 people who are food insecure. That means that they don't know where their next meal is. It's 1 in 7 children, and as I always say to my daughter, she's in middle school now, in every single class that you go to, doesn't matter what town you live in, rich, or poor, hunger is everywhere in New Jersey. So I always tell her there might be, and there probably is, a student in your class that doesn't know, if they're going to have dinner tonight.
Yeah, Nadine, my name is John. I want to welcome you to the show, and I want to thank you for everything that you do there at the Community Food Bank. I know it's a big impact on the community, and my first question for you is, how important is it for people to understand how diet affects their body?
Oh, I mean, nutrition is really everything. The food bank, when the food bank was, founded, food, was just given out. Now, part of the food bank's mission is hunger as a health issue. About 25% of the food that we distribute is fresh produce. There are, which was shocking to me, people come to the food bank, and some of, our clients really have never seen a fresh vegetable. They don't know how to prepare a fresh vegetable. So that is a very big priority at the food bank, to teach people how to eat healthy, how nutrition is really, a prescription to a better life. Just think about it. If you're hungry, really, how can you function? Think about children when they're at school. If they have an empty belly, how can they focus in school? How could they succeed in school? How can they be, the best that they can be every single day?
Yeah, you mentioned children. How much is this helping the local children?
So we have, the food bank, we supply, food to over 1,000 food pantries and soup kitchens throughout the state. So I always say, probably the soup kitchen or the food pantry in your town gets their food from the Community Food Bank of New Jersey. The food bank also has kids cafes. So those are an after-school programs where we provide, a nutritious dinner for children. So, kids, I always say, this time of year, everybody's thinking about, how I can give back, but hunger is a 365-day problem. And, for kids especially, the most vulnerable time for them is in the summer, but also a very vulnerable time is when they have their winter break, in between Christmas and New Year's. Sometimes kids, their last meal can be the last day of school, and then they're really, struggling, through that week and a half until they get back to school.
Nadine, can you explain to us how the face of hunger is changing?
So the face of hunger, when the food bank was founded in 1975, 3% of people who visited food banks worked. Today, it is well over 50% of people who work. So there are most people in New Jersey who do visit the food bank have at least one member in their household who is working. Last year, United Way puts out a report. It's called Alice. And that report last year when it was put out said that about 38% of families in New Jersey cannot afford basic modern necessities. It's transportation, it's child care, it's housing, it's health care, it's a cell phone, basic modern necessities. So hunger, I always say you don't really know who is hungry. It could be your next door neighbor, as I always tell my daughter. It could be a child in your class. It could be, the senior living down the street. People are really struggling.
Yeah, no doubt. Now, Nadine, do you have any events coming up, or what are some of the best ways that, we can help, donate and contribute?
Mm-hmm. Well, you can always visit our website, which is cfbnj.org, to make a monetary donation. I always say the best way to support the food bank is really through a monetary donation because our buying power is so strong. Every dollar that you donate to the food bank could provide 3 nutritious meals. So that's enough meals for one person for an entire day. We also love volunteers. We have volunteers at our warehouse, both in Hillside and Egg Harbor Township, from Tuesdays through Saturdays. We also have family days. About once a month, you need to check the website for kids age 6 to 11. Kids can come anytime, anytime, any day after, they're 12 years old. And also people host food drives. They do virtual food drives. And we have a lot of third-party events. If somebody has, an event, a bar, a bat mitzvah, a confirmation, they can collect money for the food bank as well. So there's many, many different ways to get involved. But I always say really the power of your donation is so strong when you give that dollar to the food bank.
Awesome. So the best way to start is just to go to your website and check out everything you have there. And that's always, I guess, constantly updated, right?
Yes, we constantly update our website. We have, in addition, we have stories, so you can read about, some of our clients. You can read about our events. We have, events all year long. We have 3, larger events that people can attend. So there's many different ways, to get involved. My daughter is 11 and she loves coming to the food bank to volunteer. So, a lot of my friends always say, how do I get my kids involved? I said, bring them to the food bank and have them volunteer. We can also send speakers, to schools, and community groups, to really get that, feel of what we do at the food bank.
Awesome. Well, Nadine, first of all, thank you very much for everything, and for coming on tonight, obviously, but thank you for everything you're doing with the Community Food Bank, and we want to wish you and your family a very happy Thanksgiving.
Well, thank you so much for giving us the opportunity. We really appreciate all that you do for the food bank.
Oh, it's our pleasure. Have a great night.
Okay. Thank you so much. Bye.
You're welcome. Bye-bye. All right, Joe, Community Food Bank in New Jersey. And it's so funny. It's not funny, but over the last, 3 days, in my area alone, they have so many food drives in the area where people are just, they have these big tractor trailers. People are just dropping off turkeys and foods and canned goods. And the ShopRite had a big thing with the Community Food Bank. They're doing so much in the community, man. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah, it is, and I want to thank Nadine again for coming on and spreading, awareness about hunger with us on the show. They do a lot of things for the community. They provide a lot of stuff, a lot of help. As you spoke about as well, the things that they help out with kids, just the kid cafes that they have, just helping people get to their next meal. So I just urge everyone listening, all listeners out there, please get involved any way you can. Go to cfbnj.org. Donate your time if you can. They take volunteers, but they also, again, they take $1. $1 can really go a long way for them. So donate whatever you can. Go to cfbnj.org and give whatever you can.
Yeah, and like she said, a lot of the money, it's not like where you donate $1, none of it goes in. Like, this money goes right to them, and they get a lot of bang for their buck. Where, $5 gets, makes 6 or 7 meals. It's pretty impressive how much they can get out of $1. So please do that. And now, Joe, we're going to speak to the people, because the people know that I told them the Jets are going to win this game, and they're going to win 5 in a row. So now we're going to talk to these people, Joe.
Okay.
A lot of them weren't believing, but then let's not forget, Friday night, we had 5 calls. 4 of them predicted victory, 1 predicted a loss, and then you predicted a loss too. So some of these people may want to talk to you about this. They may want to have discussions, and I'm just going to sit and listen, if that's okay.
Okay. Hey, but look, I want to talk to the people. I stand for the people, and I don't run away from my takes at all like some others have done. I've seen a lot of tweets in the past get deleted as well. A lot of people that, I heard from and I'm not hearing from anymore, but it is what it is. I did call for a loss, but I did think that we would keep it close. I also did not say we didn't get blown out or anything like that, but hey, we performed, and I couldn't be happier to be wrong.
We're going to bring on our good friend Nigel. Nigel, who I talked to on Friday night, he bought right in. Nigel, how are you tonight, man?
Gentlemen, how y'all doing? Hey, Ty, say Joe, how y'all doing?
Doing great, man. How you doing?
I'm good. Okay. So you want me to start, or you want to take your victory lap? Or how are we going to do this?
Nigel, you know me better. I wouldn't take a victory lap. A victory lap? I know what's going to happen.
Wow.
Swinging off the chandeliers and stuff like that. What are you talking about? So hold on. Before we go forward, there's some people we have to give credit to, okay, before we get into the game. The first person we need to give credit to is Chris Johnson, okay, and I'm going to tell you why. He kind of talked everybody off the ledge when he came out with that press conference and said that Gates ain't going nowhere and everything is going to be all right. That kind of stabilized everything. The second person we need to give credit to is Adam Gase himself, because this whole thing could have totally fractured the locker room, and they could have totally quit on everyone, and they didn't quit. And Gase, he was kind of right saying that we will play some meaningful games, going into November and December, which they are. Also, another thing is they got the young guys. Hold on, hear me out. They got the young guys buying into the system. And the next thing, Sam has totally mastered this offense. He looks comfortable in it. Okay? And that's it. Right there. That's all. I just want to give out the kudos and stuff like that.
Well, Nigel, I want to thank you for calling in. I think you missed, a person as well on that list, and you should be thanking Greg Williams. I'm
sorry. Yes.
Yeah.
You know what?
Greg Williams.
I don't want to talk. No, one quick thing. I don't want to talk about Greg Williams because he's going to get a coaching interview after this season. Somebody's going to bring him for an interview.
I'm not so sure about that.
Yeah.
No.
Who knows?
No, don't laugh because that Bounty Gate thing, that's like 10 years ago, 9 years ago.
Yeah, but then the Cleveland Browns would have kept him then.
I don't think that Greg Williams would have been a good fit for him. He's kind of a strong.
He was winning there.
Team, you understand? Yeah, but the thing is, it's the management that couldn't manage Greg Williams and stuff like that. It takes, certain people, they need management. Greg Williams is one of those management type of guys.
I think he's all right, man. I don't think he's got a checkered past in the NFL. I think he's just gonna enjoy the ride here.
No doubt.
I don't think I don't think he'll be a head coach, man. I hope not, but I don't think so.
No, I think he'll get an interview. Some people will bring him in and talk to him. He will get an interview.
Well, listen, that being here nor there, Greg Williams is one of the people that you should definitely be giving credit to going forward.
Absolutely.
He's definitely a guy you should give credit to. But I think another guy you should give credit to on another level is Sam Darnold as well, because the offense was having issues until Sam went into Gaze's office and said, hey, look, this is not working. We got to change things up. That's why I think Sam looks more comfortable within the offense, because we're not force-fitting the offense to Sam Darnold. We're allowing Sam Darnold to do what he does well within the scheme of the offense. That's what I think.
Yes, rolling out, moving the pocket. Yes. Yeah.
And no one's talking about that. And I'm not saying I'm not giving Gaze credit, because, again, I started off the show saying I gave Gaze credit.
But the daylights, remember what? 2 months ago,
we did.
We was ready to strap him to the side of a plane and launch the plane into space and stuff like that. So
absolutely. But it was because of what? Because what we saw no adjustments. We didn't see him changing things to help Sam.
No,
we didn't see him putting Sam in a position to make plays. We also didn't see him using Le'Veon Bell the way he used him in this one game. And we've been talking about him using Le'Veon Bell like this, all season. So those are things that changed. And again, I'm not taking anything away from Gaze. I'm just saying, hey, look, this was the facts. Okay, let's not forget those facts, And even when Chris Johnson came out and said those things about keeping Gaze in 2020, wasn't necessarily talking people off the ledge. He was just letting people know, hey, he's going to be around, because we were playing bad football then. We were just coming off the game where he sat in front of a fan and said, I hope the team shows up. That was right before the Jacksonville game. Then we came out and we got shellacked by the Dolphins, So that was right after that Dolphins game. So, look, either way, I'm just excited that we got ourselves a win, okay? I'm excited that we beat a solid team, and I know there's a lot of people that don't think the Raiders are very good, but I think that they're a solid team. So I'm excited about that. And I want to get your thoughts on this first and foremost, okay? Were you surprised that the offensive line was able to hold up against the Raiders and kind of keep the pressure off of them?
Yeah, I'm surprised, because the Raiders, they got a decent defensive line, and those guys get home. I was kind of surprised about that. And you know what?
The Raiders are who we thought they were. The Raiders are who we thought they were, Nigel. Come on, man. They beat bad teams.
Well, you have to play them and win these
games. So are the Raiders
okay, we're beating bad games.
Yeah,
they're not a bad team.
They weren't invincible.
Hold on. Wait a second, Tyson. If you're telling me that the Raiders only beat bad teams, if that's what you're saying, then wouldn't that make the Raiders a bad team? Because they can't beat any other teams.
They weren't invincible. They weren't some steamroller team. They came in and they faced a good team. We beat them. It's not like the Raiders. They're not like the Ravens.
Bad team.
But
they beat bad teams. They beat bad teams. The way the game played out didn't surprise me at all. You stop the run, you could beat them. When they come to the East Coast, they don't play well. It's the way it is.
But the thing is also they secondary and they safety is out and all like that. But I was just surprised about their defensive line. They didn't put up a real good fight and all like that. The Raiders they a middling team. They're in the middle of the pack and all like that, on the outside of the playoffs. It wasn't horrible or anything like that, but I was just surprised of how the way the Jets just totally manhandled them. That was like, wow. That was a wake-up call there. And
it was a wake-up call.
And the thing is, the Jets, the last 3 games, the Jets not only won these games, they dominated these games, and that's a very good thing. That right there, you could see these guys coming together. And plus, they got rid of a lot of dead weight, like the Tremaine Johnsons and the other people and stuff like that. They're not around. You got the young guys. They hustling.
Hold on. Time out, Nigel. They didn't get rid of nothing. Injuries got rid of them. It's not like Adam Gates was benching these guys. Listen, Khalil. Listen, I'm talking about giving credit where credit is due.
But listen, the football guards. The football guards answer our prayers. You understand what I'm saying?
I wish Joe Douglas would have answered our prayers and figured it out, or somebody else would have figured it out before. That's a whole other story. But I'm not giving credit for that, dude. These guys playing are because of injury, not because of anything else. Like, if Les Austin playing like this, Jonathan Harrison playing like this should have happened 4 weeks ago. This is the fact that they played Khalil as long as they did was embarrassing.
Well, because you're paying them $8-9 million this year, you got to just.
I don't care. Who cares?
You have to play.
I don't care if you're making $10 million or $2 million.
Look at the
you don't play when you get benched.
Look at McCagnon. He played a lot of guys. They played a lot of guys when they
I don't
was
care about
horrible
McCagnon. I'm looking at Joe Douglas. I'm looking at Joe
And
Douglas
that's why
Adam
we
Gase.
fired Mike McCagnon.
Exactly.
That's why we fired
You
Mike
think
McCagnon. Isn't it? So
you
why
think Bill Belichick
so why are we trying to repeat? Revisionist history. Listen, those guys are not playing well, and they should have been benched. He should have been benched, but Gase didn't bench him. But guess what? Things happen, and the guy ended up, having to move on from him because of the injury. And Harrison is in there playing well. So it is what it is.
So what are we looking at? We looking at 7-9 guys?
No, we're looking at beating the Bengals. But I will tell you, Nigel, when they win the next 2 games, I'm going to tell you I told you so.
No, I mean, the thing is, they're playing well. It's like they're gelling together, which is a good thing.
Yep.
I just hope they build on this going forward, that this is the team we have, this is the quarterback we have, and this is the system that we have. Now, this is something we can get together with. No, I'm happy with them because it's competitive football. Now, this is what we always wanted. At least you have a functional offense, somewhat functional coaching, and a functional defense.
Why you got to say like somewhat? That. What do you mean? See, now you got to throw a shot to Gase now. He outcoached John Gruden.
No, sometimes
he outcoached John Gruden.
Yeah, well, that's not hard sometimes. John Gruden gets the team.
Oh, now we're going to discount John Gruden, a Super Bowl winning coach, that's getting $10 million a year. Now we're going to play that game?
He took over Dungy's team. Okay, he took over Dungy's team.
No, don't sell me this boat of wax. I'm not buying this at all. Yeah, okay. Nigel, have a good night, man. Sorry, Joe, I'm not buying it. I'm not buying that one at all. But the one thing I want to give Adam Gase credit for, and Greg Williams, even with the big lead, Joe, they stayed aggressive. They didn't take their foot off the pedal at all, and that I like to see as well.
Yeah, and I want to thank Nigel for calling in. It's always great to talk to him. But that was the adjustment that I was talking about, that we talked about all year. Because remember when he took the gas off against the Cowboys and they almost came back and beat us? That's something that happened as well this year that, some people are forgetting. But, hey, they kept their foot on the gas. And that Brian Poole interception for a run back for a TD, that was huge because that really broke the game open. So, look, played extremely well. We got ourselves a win, man. I'm excited about that.
Yeah, and Neville Hewitt actually helped that by deflecting it, so that was a big play by Hewitt as well. We are going to go to Shaq. What's up, Shaq?
What's up, fellas? What's up?
Why are you sounding so sad, man? I got you believing on Friday. I got you built into all this happiness. Why do you sound sad?
Yeah. Because I just wanted to get on because I got called out last week by a certain caller. I listened to the show after the night. I supposedly do weed. So, if weed is legal in my state, glasses are illegal in your state, sir, Mr. Omar. Because if you believe Bless Austin is the 4th best corner on this team, you are blind, sir. You are blind. And Tyson, I want to thank you for supporting me because I see what you go through. Because I had to think about this. I'm like, let me put this out there real quick. Let me put this out there. You want to blame competition, right? He said competition was bad. Okay. So, Joe, what did you say about the Buffalo receivers? There were some average-ass receivers, right?
Yeah.
What did you say about Josh Allen? That he was a trash-ass quarterback, right? So why was he looking so good? Then you go back to the Dallas game. Okay. If Amari Cooper wasn't hurt, we were losing that game. Okay? And we still got dotted up. Okay? All right. Now let's talk about the competition. Miami was the worst team at the time, right? Why in the world was Ryan Fitzpatrick looking like Tom Brady back in 2007? Interesting, right? And then when Bless Austin was on the bench, the Giants game, Darius Slayton and Golden Tate, they were looking like Jerry Rice and T.O. in San Fran. That's how good we made them look. Until Bless Austin came out. Then all of a sudden, Bless Austin came out there. Arthur Millette came out there.
And Millette.
Yep. Millette came out there. The pass defense suddenly just changed. But hey, Tyson and Joe, he's our 4th best corner on the team. He's the fourth best corner on the team. Could I have the soundbite of "Good day, sir. You lose"?
That's it. You know, and see, hold on, and I can do that. Hold on a second. We do, Joe. Hold on, we do Chris here. Hold on a second. I have my things here. Hold on.
You get nothing. You lose.
Thank you.
Good day.
Oh my goodness.
Thank you.
We got callers.
Wait. Then in Oakland, not Oakland, last week, well, obviously yesterday or Sunday, Derek Carr was looking really, really bad out there. And I gave up hope thinking the corners wasn't going to hold up. Bless Austin made a good play. A great play. But he's our fourth best. He's a fourth best corner. He made a great play, but he's the fourth best corner on the team. I don't understand. If he need me to take him to get some glasses, I will gladly pay for him, Mr. Omar. Don't even worry about it. I got
Jack,
you, baby.
You proved your point that we know that the corners are playing much better. How excited are you to see the play calling from Adam Gase and how creative they were and how aggressive they were? And they really pushed the pace here.
It was really good. The play calling was amazing. We can't take that away. Both sides of the ball. They were. I was like, man, what was this all year? It's like, Greg Williams. It felt like he was running the same defense, and I'm not even gonna blame him. It was basically our corners that was terrible. But and then the offense, we just wasn't using Le'Veon, and now he was getting the ball. He had I think about 20 touches, right around there. And they let Sam. He let Sam play, man. He let Sam play freely because I guess that talk really did it. That talk really must have did it.
Yeah, look, and Shaq, listen, I want to thank you for calling in. You already, going off on people early. It is what it is. Hey, everyone speaks their mind, You know what I mean?
He's still my guy. Look, Omar's still my guy.
It's all respectful. It's all respectful. It's all love. I understand it all. We all go back and forth. We all love this team. But like you said, we went out there, took care of business. The play calling was better. The usage of Le'Veon was better. Moving him around, putting him in the slot, allowing him to, be a matchup nightmare for those guys. That was huge. But you kind of touched on Sam, man. But I want to get your thoughts on this throw that he made during the game, where he could have broke out and ran for it, but he just dropped a dime into Robbie, man. Do you think that's a huge throw in the NFL?
Yes, I said if you guys noticed, that's why I didn't give up on Sam, because when I said every time Sam get protection, he always made a play. Let's be honest. Anytime he had protection or time in the pocket, he always made a play. The times he made bonehead plays was because he was getting pressured. That's why I never gave up on him. And I told people, it's like when he says he's seeing ghosts and stuff like that, I start to believe him. Like when he gets blitzed, he start to play, like Tom Brady when he gets blitzed. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's bad. But that's really any quarterback. But when you get time, he could make a play. He could drop dimes. He dropped a lot of dimes when he gets protection.
So, Shaq, you're sitting here, and your New York Jets have won 3 games in a row. As a fan, how does this feel for you?
Tyson, I thought you were trolling, but you were the first guy to follow the train. Not the train, the jet. And you know what, Tyson? I'm on the jet with you, and we're drinking the green Kool-Aid. Come on, Joe, let's go,
There
Joe.
we go.
Come on. It ain't too late. We're not gonna leave you. We're not gonna leave you. We're not gonna leave nobody else neither. We're gonna bring the people. Tyson, you got me. Just know you got me.
I'm good.
I got extra Kool-Aid and some sugar. The green Kool-Aid and the sugar. Don't worry about it. We're good. We're gonna drink it because I believe. You know something, fellas? I believe we got this. I believe we got this. That's why I said, next year. The real reason why I said Bless could play number 2 next year is because he's playing like a number 2. Not perfect, but he can hold his own, And we got a lot of positions still that we need to fill because next year, I think we're going to revamp most of the O-line. We're most likely going to keep Kelvin Beachum because we have no choice, because we have, I'm sorry, Joe, but we don't have, we're still not perfect. We're not perfect. If I'm saying something wrong here,
tackle.
we're not.
we're not perfect, Shaq, but we can draft a left tackle. We have capital. We have, however the record ends, we should probably be in the top 10. I know a lot of people are upset that we're winning because we're sliding down now, but we should be somewhere within that top 10. Listen, you have got to draft a left tackle, period. There's no question about
Kelvin. I like Kelvin.
Look,
I think he's solid. I think we just could get, because regardless of it, we gotta fill the old line. So that's about 4 to 5 positions. Then we gotta get pass rush. Okay. Then we gotta try to possibly pay to get a number one corner.
Shaq, hold on, man. Listen. Dude, we're not going to sit here and worry about next year and all these holes in the division.
We're going to enjoy this week, and we're going to beat the Bengals, and we're going to go on a ride. I want to win, man. I want to win.
We won 3 in a row. We're going to win 5 in a row. I've already told you this.
Yes. I'm sorry.
Good night, man.
Yes, sir.
Have a good. See, Joe, another member of the fan. See, listen, we have this bandwagon that's just cruising along here. I had to attract some followers on Friday, and the best thing was, Joe, sitting there on Sunday next to primetime, he was just shaking his head. He's like, "You're going to be unbearable." Like, he's like, "I can't even deal with you now." And I was like, I told you. He's like, he felt bad for you. He's like, I feel bad for Joe. He goes, I can't deal with you now. I can't imagine on Tuesday.
Yeah, and look, shout out to Shaq. Listen, primetime already knows how this goes. All right, you start with your nonsense, and it just keeps on going.
5 in a row.
Look, well, we'll see about that. We'll see what's happening coming up. I'm just excited we got ourselves a win, and I'm just one game at a time. Let's go for it and see how we perform next week.
All right, we are going to go to Bo in California. What's up, Bo?
Hey, guys. How you doing?
I'm doing great, man. How you doing?
Oh, I'm so happy because since I'm from California, there's Raiders fans everywhere, and now I can just brag in front of everybody. Yep. It's awesome.
What made you a Jet fan out in California?
So my dad, he's from upstate New York, and he moved out to California about 20 years ago.
You're in Joe's neck of the woods.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What's going on, man? Look, I know what it's like to be a Jet fan out here. It is tough. Like you said, there's Raiders fans out here. There's fake-ass Niners fans out here. There's a bunch of fake Rams fans out here as well. The Chargers, their fan base is as fickle as it gets, too, and they love just absolutely jumping on us left and right, telling us about how we suck and all this other stuff. But, hey, we got a W. We really handed it to the Raiders, so they're going to be quiet for this week, man. But I want to get your thoughts on Sam Darnold and his performance. What are your thoughts about what he did out there?
Oh, he looked amazing out there. When he escaped that sack in the end zone and he passed it out to Bell, I was astonished when I watched that. That was insane. And when he made that throw to Robbie Anderson, oh my God. I don't know what, that was insane.
No, it looked like Brett Favre out there. Sam, he did. He made some throws that were very Favre-like. He was just spreading the ball around. What is your play to defense, man? Are you surprised that they're this good against the run and just kind of taking over games now?
Yeah, Fadu Kasi, he just come out of nowhere. It's oh, who's this guy? I knew he was on the roster last year, and he was a backup. And I assumed he was just going to be a scrub since McCagnon drafted him. But he's actually been our best defensive lineman.
And in terms of the offense, Robbie Anderson slowly but surely is coming on now. He's scoring touchdowns, jumping in the stands. Do you think he's working his way into getting a new contract with the Jets?
I think he deserves it because originally, obviously, he was just known for his deep threat, but now he can actually run other routes, and he's kept making contested catches. He's looking good out there. That one catch when they did the flea flicker, that was an amazing catch.
Yeah, and now with the Jets winning 3 in a row, what's your feeling, man? Are you excited Jets fan? Are you encouraged? How do you feel about this team?
I'm excited, but obviously it's the Jets, so I don't want to get my hopes up too much because you never know against these Bengals.
Come on, man. Oh, come on. Joe, come on.
Well, look. Don't hit this man with the soundbite. Look, I'm going to stand for him. He's the people. Listen, you have to understand that there's a lot of people have been fans of this team for years. They have their own perspective on what's going on, and they've been here before, where they get high on the team and then they get let down at some point. So yeah, we won 3. We beat 2 bad teams. We beat a team that's decent, but they're just waiting to see, hey, can I truly buy in? Can I trust? They're not as open as maybe me or you, and really believe, hey, this team can move forward and do some things. So just give them time, man. There's no need to jump on these folks. Let's move into the next game, because that's where I'm at. I'm just ready to move into the next game and see what are we going to do against the Bengals. How is this team going to perform there? So he's just taking it game by game. Is that correct?
Yeah, like Tyson, I'm still excited, man.
Exactly.
I hope the Jets destroy the Bengals. But
there we go.
You can never just be 100% sure.
Yeah. We gotta believe, man. That's all we have is believing at this point. Bo, thanks for calling in, man. We appreciate it.
All right, thanks, man.
Yeah.
All right, see you.
Joe, see, I've only used 2 sound bites so far, and Shaq requested one of them.
Yeah, well, first off, I want to thank both for calling in. It was great to hear from him, another guy, Californian, out there with me. So, look, Shaq, had to speak his mind. He has some things he has to say, but there's no need for you to jump on people, man. No need to hit them with sound bites. I don't know what you're talking about. Giving you that truth. They're just explaining their truth and telling you what they have and what they think, or how they feel about what's going on. So no need to jump on these people because they're not screaming playoffs or anything else. They believe in their own way, but they're just cautious, okay? They're just being cautious with their heart right now.
I think we have to be the only show where callers insult other callers and they call back in to talk about it. That's pretty interesting.
Hey, man. Well, we're a platform that's we're a platform that's open to everybody. And listen, everybody gets it. There's nobody that's safe, okay? You, me, Primetime. People have called in and insulted Primetime before. As a matter of fact, Primetime has gone back and forth with a caller before and said, hey, this is my stance. He was screaming his stance. It is what it is. Look at the comments on our videos. I mean, just full of filth. People going back and forth, man. They're arguing with you. They're arguing with me. They're arguing with each other. Look, we're a passionate fan base. We love this team. You have to be crazy to be a Jets fan. You have to be. It is what it is. It comes with the territory. But we all love each other. We all love this team, and that's what it's all about.
Yeah, if you want to see craziness, go to our YouTube channel. Let's Talk Jets Radio, and just go through the comments. Man. I mean, there's some, you can I'll see one comment and you go back 2 hours later and there's people just arguing for what? I lose track of the argument. I'm like, what did we start arguing about? I'm completely lost. It's holy cow! It's YouTube's a whole other animal out there, man. It's a whole other world over there.
People are passionate, man. People are passionate. Nobody is safe in these streets. Anybody can get it.
Oh yeah, and it was so funny because we did our preview show and then I may have said some things about the Raiders that kind of may have upset some people. So they came out all day Saturday. I was getting blasted all day Saturday. And then Sunday night, they were all gone. Some of the comments were deleted. They just magically disappeared. I wonder where they went. I just couldn't. I was going to respond to some of the hatred, and the hatred vanished, Joe. I'm not really sure where it went, but you know how that works.
Yeah, well, you said a lot of very coarse things about Raiders and Raiders fans as well. You're going to keep saying those things throughout the show, at TRouse21. But, hey, once they saw what was happening around here, they packed up and got going.
They scattered like ants. So we're going to go to Brian in Staten Island. Brian, what's up, man?
What's up, fellas? How are you?
Doing great, man.
You guys hear me?
Jets have won 3 in a row. So 3 in a row. So how are you feeling about this team?
Oh my God, I've been optimistic about this team since day one. Obviously, all the trials and tribulations that we've had to go through, I give Gase tons of credit for keeping the locker room together, and I really feel like we could make a push. Obviously, our record sucks. If we beat that Bills team in the first game, we'd be a lot better off. But
or the Dolphins
as
game.
Of right now, we can get there. Well, the Dolphins, we got fucked up. We got beat up by the Dolphins.
Whoa!
So
can't curse, man.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize.
Yeah, family show now.
We had a chance to beat the Bills. We should have beat the Bills, really, with the kicking situation. So, look at our record. We would have been a lot better off with that game, and we have a chance to push. We really do. I just don't know. I mean, you got the Titans who are pushing. We have teams in front of us, but I don't think that we're in a bad position. I think that our future is good.
Oof.
Yeah.
Bad position. We're 4-7.
Well, hold on. Well, look, I want to thank you for calling in. Again, family show. You cleaned it up, but
sorry,
look,
I cursed. Sorry, I cursed.
No, it's okay. You're optimistic about the team. You're excited. That's we're excited as well. The playoff stuff. I want to kind of push that away for a second. I just want to talk about what we've done here in this game and how excited we are here. And I want to talk to you about Le'Veon Bell, man. This is something that we've been talking about on a weekly basis on this show. His usage. When is he, really going to be put in position to go out there and do his thing? And I think in this game, Gase did a solid job of that. Him being put in the slot really helped us out. So what are your thoughts about the way he performed out there and what he was doing?
My opinion, personally, I think Le'Veon Bell should be a Jet, and he will be utilized properly. We've had some really, weird shit. Oh, I did it again.
I had to let him go, Joe, because I can't be editing this call all night. Sorry.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what it is. I can't. We got to edit. They're called the erased, and it's just I can't. I don't have time to be editing all this. But the one thing is,
I want to
Joe.
thank him for calling in. But thank him for calling in. But you got to clean it up. We're a family show here. We got sponsors. We can't do all that crazy talk. So that's got to go. But we understand his passion, and we know he loves the team, and that's what's important.
Yeah, the one thing about Le'Veon was it's interesting to see they're using him as a receiver, this and that. But it's like you see the other guys contributing as well, Montgomery and Powell, all this. And Bell's been cool with it. He's been a complete role model player. Everything we heard about him, or not what we heard. There was questions about his mindset and his leadership, and was he a me guy and not a team guy? Dude, he just rolled with the punches, and he's been awesome about it. And it's slowly but surely he's actually getting better. If you watch Brian Baldinger and in his film breakdown, they show ways of where Bell's not too far away from having some huge gains.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and the thing is this kind of style of offense is what we saw in the preseason and we were all excited about. So have him come out here, and I mean he didn't play much in the preseason, but we saw that dual back where guys were being moved around there. I think he understands that it is about the team. There were people that came out during the offseason. I mean, D'Angelo Williams sat down with him. I think it was on some type of IG call, maybe a FaceTime, where he was talking about how Le'Veon is a solid guy and a solid teammate. He didn't understand where some of the reports were coming from about him being a me guy. This guy has been nothing but a class act since he's got here. Even when we were in our losing streak, he would come out. He did interviews. He was the guy right in front of the camera in the face saying, hey, we're not going to give up. We're going to keep going out there and fighting as a team. I remember, when we didn't have a win, and he said, hey, my first year in Pittsburgh, we were winless for quite a bit of time too. But we're going to keep fighting and facing adversity. So he's always been, a team guy. And I think he even looks at the system and goes, hey, even though other guys are out there getting touches, it's going to help him as well. Because there's going to be times where he's going to be in a position to make a play, and he's going to be able to go out there and do his thing. So, Le'Veon has really stepped up, and that's why I'm so excited about him being here and the future with him for the team if they keep him. Because, again, they tried to shop him during the trade deadline. That's why I was so angry and upset about that. I know a lot of people are probably forgetting that now, but that did happen too. I'm hoping that they don't trade him off during the offseason, allow him to stick here because he could be a big-time piece in moving forward with this offense, especially a big-time piece in helping Sam continue to groom and mature here as well.
Yeah, the one thing we haven't talked about, I forgot. I mean, I have a list of things, but the extension to Ryan Griffin, smart move by Joe Douglas, and this was a move where it's all right, not a lot of money. I think it was $4 million guaranteed, 3 years, $10 million. Mm-hmm. And Joe, it's these are the kind of players where it's all right, you want to start finding pieces for the future. And the thing why it makes sense for me is he obviously has chemistry with Sam Darnold, and he's getting a rhythm in the offense, and he's good insurance for Chris Herndon, who right now we have no idea what he is, because this was supposed to be a big year for Herndon, and it's been lost to injury. So now it's all right, you have Griffin for this year, which is good. Then you have him for next year. And it's all right, a good piece, smart move, cheap. It just makes sense to me.
Yeah, it absolutely does, and I thought that was a solid extension as well. And I think you have to look at the situation as this is another piece that you don't have to replace. If you're finding a guy that works well within the scheme and, is out there making plays, why remove him, especially when he has chemistry with your quarterback, the kid you're trying to bring along to really, become one of the better quarterbacks in the league? Why remove a piece that he's so familiar with that they, have a rhythm? Why do that? So it was a smart signing, and I'm excited about him being here, and especially, like I said, if he keeps making plays, I don't know if Herndon is going to be on that field, because with him going out there and doing the things that he's doing, being in the right places at the right times, handling business, it's going to be tough to remove him.
Yeah, or you go 2 tight end sets. It gives you some versatility, but to me it's a smart move, and I wouldn't be surprised to see Joe Douglas do more of that. The Jets have plenty of guys, like we talked about over the last couple of weeks, whether it's Brian Poole or Hewitt or all these guys. So listen, if you can start getting guys signed before the season's over, you know what I mean? And especially I feel like just like Brian Poole, for example, Joe, you almost don't want him to hit free agency, because you know what? In this day and age of a passing NFL, corners are a hot commodity, dude, and he can get more than, he can go elsewhere.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I think I talked about this on a past show, but that's exactly what I think the rest of this year should be about. I understand people want to talk about playoffs and all that stuff. Yeah, the team should go out there and win games. Whatever happens, but you're also using this as an evaluation period too. If you have a guy that's only on a 1-year deal here and he's coming out for free agency, maybe you can extend him if he's going out there and he's really performing well and he fits your system. So, again, that's just another piece that you don't have to replace. If they're going out there and they're playing well, try to sign these guys to solid deals, cheap while they're here, again, so you don't have to fight for them in free agency, and then you can move forward with them and keep building the team.
All right, we're going to go to Mike in Jersey City. Mike, what's up, man?
What's up, guys?
3 in a row, my friend.
Yeah, I think I did say that I'd jump on board last week if they beat the Raiders. However,
you did.
I'm going to take it back. I'm going to play a little. I'm going to take it back because yes, it's great we won, and I'm happy we won. I'm finally enjoying football. I sat there for the entire game, just like you, that you just said you were basically bored by the third quarter. I mean, isn't that a nice luxury to have as a fan, that you just basically tap out a team in the third quarter? I mean, I'm surprised. I thought that was early that Gruden took out Carr, but neither here nor there. Great win. However, with that being said, okay, next week the Bengals. Now, this is where, for me at least, is going to be a tall tale for Adam Gase, because...
Wait a minute, hold on a second. Time out. So you're reneging on your word. So the litmus test was the Raiders, and now you're not going to give them credit and buy in? That's what you're telling me?
No, wait. As a team, yes. Coaching is completely...
Let this guy speak his mind.
They're on such a high right now after winning 3. Great thing, right? They're celebrating the stupid articles coming out that they're celebrating, particularly Sam Darnold, right? So now what I want to see from Gase, this to me smells like the perfect trap game, because what happened? They just told Andy Dalton, you're back starting. Okay, so I'm thinking he's going to want to go and show out. It's an away game in Cincinnati. Yes, they haven't won a single game all season, just like we gave the Dolphins their first win. Okay, so if Adam Gase, we should beat them. Everything says we should beat them, but you can't sit here and blame me as a fan that watched the first half of this season as a Jets fan and say if they lose, I'm not going to say I'm surprised, because this is where I want to see as for me to kind of. My views start changing about Gase. Is can he bring in the troops? They're on such a high, they keep the focus and they take care of business in Cincinnati, because I have no doubt in my mind, I have zero doubt that if we beat Cincinnati, it's an automatic win against the Finns. Knowing the players, they're going to be mad from the first time.
Whoa.
I just think...
Yeah,
I agree.
Look, listen, and I want to thank you for calling in. I don't necessarily think I know you agree with everything, Tyson. You're a troll. I don't necessarily think it's an automatic win. I don't think it's an automatic win against the Finns, but I'm going week to week, okay? You know, and the Bengals are coming up, and I respect your perspective on that because, like you said, you know, I remember we were coming off a high off that Cowboy game, and everybody was like, hey, turn the corner, Sam's back, everything's good, and then there was loss after loss, and then we lost to the Dolphins, and it was like at its lowest, and people were completely fired up. But I want to stick with this week, and I want to accept this win and really step up and bask in it. You know what I'm saying? And I want to get your thoughts on this. Robbie Anderson, the way that he's playing out there, he's catching footballs, he's jumping into the stands, man. Do you think the Jets will try to extend him before the end of this year?
You got to extend him. You got to extend him before the year's over. I think extending him before the year's over makes a front office statement, like gets the players forgetting about how they handled Osameli and Anunwa. You go out and you extend clearly your best receiver and best like homegrown receiver. You know, if you want to get into whatever Crowder, Demaryius Thomas, Robbie Anderson, I'm still taking Robbie Anderson over either of those guys, regardless of what production has said, targets or whatever. So you go out, you extend him before the season's over, lock him up. He clearly wants to be here. I couldn't tell you. I thought everything, particularly his tweet with the Wolf on Wall Street tweet after the trade deadline, I think the kid is sincere, and he really wants to continue his career as a New York Jet. So you got to go extend him before free agency hits. And last time we talked, I gave you guys the opinion of what do you think would happen, like, say, if we did extend Ryan Griffin, and that was before we did it. I think it was the day after or Wednesday or Thursday they extended him to that multi-year contract. So now that we did that, do you honestly think, like, it's sayonara, Chris Herndon?
No, Chris Herndon, no. I think now it's going to be more pressure on him to come back, get healthy, and perform, because if not, he's not going to play. I mean, now he's got pressure to perform and step his game up. That's it. Because the Jets have proven they don't need him.
Yeah, well, but do you see Gase giving Darnold a 2 tight end package? I mean,
Why not?
It took Darnold to tell Gase, hey, maybe you should start using Le'Veon Bell as a
now what's happening is Gase is starting to learn more and more of what he has and what targets he has and how to use them. So now he can open up his offense more and more, especially if Sam is embracing it. Dude, it is. Sam is embracing it. Sam is telling him, listen, I can do this, I can do that. So now they're starting to do things that's working. That's not true.
He should have. No, he should have. He's an offensive genius. You should have looked at the team before the season even started and realized the targets that you had.
He
was here during the draft. He was here during free agency. It shouldn't have took him until week 12 to realize the targets that he had, and then started losing. Come on, man. You're trolling too hard.
I'm not trolling. It's a fact. Did they not open up the offense this week? Did they open up the offense this week? And guess what? They can do it even more.
He did change some things this week, but he should not have waited to week 12 to finally start putting Le'Veon in the slot.
He did, and he waited till week 12 and the next,
with the Steelers.
And he can open it up even more in the next 5 weeks.
Week 12 to do other stuff. He shouldn't have waited this long to do that. He should have been doing it before week 12.
Yeah, and Joe Douglas decided to center that couldn't play, but he did. So
they
what?
have all this time to figure out that Alex Lewis, Chuma, and literally our second and third stringers are significantly better than our first string offensive line. Like, this is not a coincidence. It took Gase and Frank Polak to till week 11, week 12 to figure out that these guys are better than Khalil, Shell, Winters. I get it. Winters and Khalil, they're gone, but still, I mean, they had the entire offseason to realize this, and they're significantly better.
Time out. If you're going to be honest, the offensive line didn't play together the entire preseason. They were all injured the entire preseason, so they never played together as a unit.
I guess that's fair. But
Mike,
anyway,
have a good night, man.
No, wait.
Go ahead.
Wait. I have a bold take. I saw a stat.
Uh-oh.
This year, I saw a stat, okay? 13 TDs and an 86.5 QBR for Sam Darnold. Brady, 15 TDs, 88.6 QBR. I'm going to say at the end of the season, Sam Darnold will be leading Tom Brady in one of those categories.
Oh my goodness, Mike, have a good night. And Tom Brady's be leading the AFC and going to number 1 seed. So I'm not gonna. I don't know, Joe. I'm not gonna cross any Tom Brady, Sam Darnold takes right now because that's just apples and oranges at this point.
Listen,
So your thoughts?
I want to thank.
I can't even.
I'm
not even going down that path.
I want to thank Mike for calling in, and I'm going to leave that at that, okay? I'm not touching any of that nonsense, you know? I just want to thank him for calling in and spreading his love about the Jets, you know what I'm saying? I'm not touching none of that other stuff that was said. No, sir.
That was like a bad fart in the wind right there. I was like, I'm just going to walk away from that one.
That was crazy. Yeah,
we're gonna go to Johnny in Florida. Johnny, what's up, man?
Gentlemen, how are you guys doing? All right.
Doing great, man. They've won 3 in a row.
Listen, I gotta ask you guys a question. Right now, I'm hugging a female bunny rabbit. Have you ever had a caller call in with a bunny in his hand? Probably not. No. You guys gotta be like, you kidding me? Listen, I'm the guy that called the first time caller. It was the ghost one, where we were coming off the wonderful Jacksonville debauchery. And now look at this, 3 weeks later. But now hang out. The question is, in that meeting, what kind of drugs did Sammy bring in to what?
I had to let him. Joe, I had a bad feeling about that call. I don't know why. I just had a bad feeling that I had a feeling I was going down the wrong path.
What happened to the show, man? We were all good. Now we're talking about bunny rabbits and drugs. What the hell? Kind of degeneracy. Next caller. Let's go.
I usually don't have a quick hook, but that one, I don't feel like editing more stuff tonight. So we're going to go to Mr. NYSF Magazine, who I'm sure is not holding a bunny rabbit. So, Jay, what's up, man?
God. That dude was holding a bunny rabbit talking about Sam Darnold's drugs, man. I don't know. People got crazy today, man.
This dude is on something, man.
I'm
open-minded, man.
I was kind of curious where that was going to go. I was real curious where that was going to go, man.
I was nervous about that one. I had bets. Once the drugs started coming out, I'm like, yeah, this is going to go south pretty quickly. So
I was nervous about the bunny rabbit. You waited till the drugs? I was worried.
Yeah, the bunny rabbit had me shook.
Right when
you guys got quiet, I got the awkward silence.
What the hell are you talking about, dude? Like, you know, everybody lives, you know, a different type of life, but what the hell are you doing hugging bunny rabbits? That's almost. Listen, I had questions when Steve was in his basement. You holding bunny rabbits? What's happening around here?
He's trying to introduce new animals to the show, man. Steve's dogs are popular callers, man. He's trying to introduce a bunny rabbit. There's nothing wrong with a little bunny rabbit.
Well, dude, it's a Tuesday night and you holding bunny rabbits? What the hell is happening? There's something wrong. You know what I'm saying? I get it.
Someone needs to write a page 6 article in the New York Post about that dude, man. Leave Sam Darnold alone, man.
Yeah. Anyway, let's move away from that, man. I want to get your thoughts about Darnold in this game. I want to get your thoughts about us beating the Raiders and how he performed.
Break up the freaking Jets, man. Break them up. I try to tell you all along, Joe, you don't want to listen to me. We got to be patient with Adam Gase, man. That guy knows how to coach. That guy knows how to coach, man. You got to be patient. You know, like, you can't just be out there calling for people to get fired, 8 weeks into the season. This dude has a full year. He's got a job to do, man. We got to let that... No, just... Listen, look, to be fair, I was very, cautiously optimistic with the way they played the last 2 games, but also wanted to see them prove it against a team that, was decent. Obviously, the Giants, you look at the Giants and the Redskins, those teams are trash. And so, I was taking those results with a grain of salt. But I did say that I wanted that this would be a litmus test and that I would, watch this game with objectively and go into it. And look, man, 34-3. I mean, wow. Sam Darnold looked great. Got to give credit where credit's due to the whole team, to Greg Williams, to Adam Gase, to Sam Darnold. I mean, look, people out there think, and I ain't coming to my Twitter and, inbox and emails and everything, talking about how am I embarrassed about, doing the play and everything. They got a 3-game winning streak. I'm not embarrassed at all, but at the same time, if I'm being fair, I'm a Jets fan. People are like, oh, you must be rooting for them to lose. Dude, I'm not rooting for them to lose. Passion and, for this team, and an extreme desire to win games is what put that plane in the air. I was unhappy with the product. I'm not a Jets hater, and so I got to give credit. I enjoyed the win. I really enjoyed that win, and that's how I want to see this team play going forward. So I'm very happy with it. Sam Darnold, man, wow, last few weeks and the way he ended last season and he's given us all the hope in the world that it looks like that's going to be if that's what we're going to be getting going forward with Sam Darnold, then there's every reason in the world to be excited about the future direction. So I'm super pumped about it.
Yeah, it's crazy, man, how this has all changed over the last 3 weeks. It's like the roller coaster ride of the season's here. But now, Jay, what would it take for you to buy in, really what this team said? Listen, they've really turned the corner. Would it take winning the next 2 games? I mean, people what I hate now is beat the Ravens. Beating the Ravens is not realistic. That's one of the best teams of football. But would it be winning the next 2 weeks?
No. Okay, so I'm just taking it 1 week at a time. I'm so skeptical still about Adam Gase. You gotta be fair about what we're seeing, right? So we have 57 games of Adam Gase's head coaching career, and the first 54 of them were a failure, and the last 3 games have been a huge success. So, if you're being fair about it, you have every right to have been pissed off 3 weeks ago. But as a fan of the Jets, you have every right to be excited about the direction that the team has gone since. So I'm very skeptical, and I'm going to just be watching on a week-to-week basis and not thinking about the Ravens, not thinking about the Bills, the Steelers, or anything. I'm just looking at the Steelers at the Cincinnati game and hoping that they come out with the same effort and the same results as they did the previous 3 weeks. I don't really know any other way to look at it because, I can't buy into really no matter what happens. Look, if they go out and they beat the Ravens or they put up a huge fight against the Ravens and lose a real close game or something, then I'll be a lot more convinced. But I don't think there's really much they can do for the rest of the season. They're not making the playoffs. I know everyone's dreaming about that. It's just not going to happen. You got to run the table pretty much and hope for, help along the way. So it's just not going to happen. But I want to see this over the course of an entire season before I buy into Adam Gase. But that said, I'm rooting for him this week against Cincinnati, and if they win this week against Cincinnati, then I'm rooting for him next week against the Dolphins. I want to see him continue to stack these wins.
Yeah, look, and Jay, I hear you. I'm right there with you. I'm just going game by game. But I want to get your thoughts on Greg Williams, man, and the way that he's really made adjustments defensively, even when he doesn't have the personnel due to injuries.
Yeah, I'm happy you brought that up because last week I was skeptical of Greg Williams too, right? I didn't necessarily call him out, but I said, the defense looked real good against, the Giants and, or against the Redskins. They kind of blew a 14-point lead early to the Giants, and, they basically couldn't stop a nosebleed the rest of the season. But, man, when you put up a performance like that against the Raiders, man, what can you say? The guy has gotten a lot out of a little, and, that's all you can ask for. The run defense is spectacular. The pass defense is stabilized for sure and has looked really good. Look, we got Bless Austin back there, and he's doing one hell of a job. Arthur Millette, another guy doing one hell of a job. Guys that weren't even on the radar really to start the season. So you got to give Greg Williams a massive amount of credit for that game. His defensive game plan in this Raiders game was as masterful as Adam Gase's offense was. It was just a perfect storm. It was just a beautiful game. One of the best Jet games, start to finish on both sides of the ball that I can remember. It was fantastic. So, anybody that's not happy with the results of this week's game, I don't even know why you're watching football. I see that a little bit on social media. People are pissed off about it. And they're coming to me. They're making fun of me. I'm like, dude, are you nuts? I'm a freaking Jets fan. That's what I want to see. That's what we want to see week to week. So, all credit to the entire coaching staff, and especially Greg Williams. After I was skeptical of him last week, big shout out to him.
Jay, at what point do you reconsider trying to re-sign Jordan Jenkins and Brian Poole?
Right now, because they won't be that expensive. We're going to have, $60+ million, probably more, $70, $80 million once they make some cuts in the salary cap space in the off season. And those are guys that you can get relatively cheap. I don't think they're going to, neither one of those guys are going to break the bank, but those are guys who have performed and earned a contract. I mean, you brought in Poole for on a 1-year deal, on a prove-it deal, and he proved it. Give him a deal. Give him a contract. And Jordan Jenkins is one of the guys, like, dude, we don't get guys on second contracts that we drafted, especially not Mike McCagnon draft picks. So, you know, you got to have some homegrown guys that come up and stay here. And Jordan Jenkins is an underrated leader, man. That guy, and just like you were saying, Ty, before, like, that guy, you know, he's saying all the right things in the locker room. He wants to be here. He seems to enjoy it here. He puts up. I mean, he's not, you know, a perennial Pro Bowler, but he's a damn solid player and a guy that, you know, you need players like that on a winning team. So yeah, I would sign him, give him a few $1 million a year, and I'd give Poole, you know, a few $1 million a year. You know, get him in here on 3-year deals and let's ride. You know, because if you lose him, you got to replace him.
Yeah. What about Robbie Anderson?
Yep, him too. Look, Robbie did everything that you'd want to see him do this year, right? Now, Robbie was not really performing earlier on in the season, but the problem was that the offensive line was not giving him any time to even, you know, use what he does. I mean, Robbie's a burner, and if you're gonna have Sam Darnold getting sacked, you know, 1 or 2 seconds after he drops back, like Robbie's got no time to get open. So the last few weeks, I mean, he showed up, and that dude, you know. It's great what he does. What you know, the way he's kind of turned his life around and turned his image around and all that stuff. He's matured big time this year. He's earned every penny, and I don't think that it's going to be like, you know, it's another guy. I don't think that you're going to have to break the bank to sign him. I mean, it's not going to be cheap, but it's not going to be that expensive. And it's another guy that if you lose him, well, then you know you're going into the offseason basically with nothing but Jamison Crowder, wide receiver. I mean, they have a couple, you know, decent little pieces and everything. You know, guys that. You know, Smith and Berrios and guys like that, I guess that whatever, but, you know, you need a burner. You need a guy that can stretch the defense, and if you lose him, you have to replace him. So I don't know, you know, it's going to cost about that anyway to replace him, unless you draft somebody like that, and, you know, then it's just a crapshoot. So I would definitely give Robbie a contract, get all 3 of them signed.
And, Jay, so now your overall state, like, you know, you walk into the gym or wherever it is, and you said people are like, man, how do you feel as a Jet fan? I'm like, dude, I'm friggin' excited. Like, and the most exciting part is Sam Darnold, but just that the team is playing good football. Like, it's actually fun to watch. Like, we would talk 5-6 weeks ago. We're like, dude, I can't even watch this team. Like, it was actually like we considered it punishment. Like, watching the Jets was punishment, and now it's the complete opposite. So your mindset as a Jets fan is what?
Again, it's just extreme cautious optimism. I mean, you know, look, you go out this week and lose to the 0-11 Bengals, and you know it's like it's just a complete roller coaster. So I've just taken it 1 week at a time, man. I'm not getting overly excited. I'm also not. If you win, then great. Then you're on a 4-game winning streak, and now you're back to 5-7, and you know, then go out and beat Miami and get to 6-7. And then, you know, we have some fun. Maybe some wacky things happen on a Thursday night. But right now, it's just 1 game at a time for me, man. I cannot get myself into looking ahead because it's just nothing but cost optimism. But I'll tell you what, I am proud. I am proud of them. I took out, you know, for the first time in like a month, yesterday, I wore a Jets shirt. You know, I'm down here in South Florida. I wasn't embarrassed to walk around with it on. You know, didn't have to worry about Dolphin fans chirping at me about how we have the same amount of wins, but they beat us and they're a better team than us and all this garbage. You know, so like, it's all good, man. It's definitely a positive step in the right direction. Very happy as a fan right now. You know that the way that I'm proud of Adam Gase with the way that he's responded. To my criticism, loud flying plane. You know, like, you know, I was at a low point, at rock bottom as a Jet fan, you know, 3 weeks ago. We just lost to the Dolphins. We got embarrassed. The team seemed to be traveling in a really bad direction. Sam Darnold was regressing. The whole thing was all jacked up. Jamal Adams wasn't talking to him. Like, I don't think people really, because wins cure everything, right? So I don't think people really remember the place where the team was at 3 weeks ago. It was, exactly. You know, everybody was saying, this is worse than Rich Kotite. This is as bad as it's ever been. And then a couple wins, and everybody's, you know, talking about playoffs. So it's just bipolar. And, you know, like, I can't get myself to the point where I'm going to fully buy in until I see this play out over the course of the season.
Playoffs? You kidding me?
Exactly.
Playoffs?
Jim Moore is right. He's right. But look, man. Like I said, it's nothing but positivity, man. I'm not going to sit there and bash anybody at this point. I'm just going to take it week by week and hope that this continues, man. Let's ride it out and see where it goes.
All right, Mr. J, NYSFMag.com. What's any latest news with the magazine?
Yeah, we got the new issue. The Christmas issue is coming out, in December. I'm going to be back in Jersey from December 4th until the 8th, distributing it all over the place. I'm going to give our buddy Adam Gase a pass. We had a cover that we were going to do that had him in Joker makeup, but I decided to pull that because he's won a whole bunch of games in a row, and we're going to try and take it easy on him and let him continue to do his job without any sort of massive heavy criticism for now. And let's just hope that these good game plans and everything continues.
Well, see, now, if I was a reader of NYSF magazine, why not put Pat Shurmur in clown makeup?
Well, that's a good question, except that I just don't have the passion to put that stuff on. To put a Giants coach on the cover of my magazine because it's my Hey, listen, it's not a bad idea. You could put Pat Shurmur on there in clown makeup, man. We could make an alternative cover and put it in Giants bars and stuff like that. I kind of like that idea.
Have a good night, Jay.
Maybe we'll put Fizdale in clown makeup, man. He's the next one out.
Oh, that guy. Put them both in. Don't get me started on that bozo. I'll talk to you later, man.
All right, guys. Have a good night.
All right. Let's see who we got here. Once again, always good to hear from Jay. Hit the wrong button. We're going to go to Ty. Here's Tyrone. Hit the wrong button. Sorry, man. Tyrone, what's up, man?
Yeah, what's going on, fellas? What's going on, man?
Well, you tell me, man, because, I was sitting here talking about 5 in a row, and now we're at 3 in a row. Are you all aboard the bandwagon now? Are you ready to ride this train with me?
I mean, I think Jay said it best, man. I love this team, and I'm always going to root for them. And I'd love for us to get 5 in a row. But like I said, man, we still got some things to work on, man. I mean, it's amazing how, we looked good for a moment, you know what I'm saying? And we played really well. It was a pretty good team to beat. Oakland was a really good team to beat, but everyone is talking about our cornerback situation is fixed, but Oakland dropped about 4 or 5 balls that have been really big games. So, I'm excited from what I'm seeing. Just as an overall Jet fan, I think Sam is playing well. I think the biggest thing, man, is I really like how they're using Le'Veon, man. And I wish they would do more of that. I just think that, I just think that that's just such a weapon that's not being used. But I think Sam looks comfortable. And ain't it funny, bro, that since we got all the older guys from the offensive line out, the line has been playing really, really well. And I'll tell you this right here, man. I probably ragged on Beecham a few times. I got to really apologize, man, because that dude went down, and I was scared to death, Tyson and Joe. When I saw him go down, bro, I was in there. I was terrified. Then you see Shell go in there. Then I see my man Yoga go down. I was like, oh, man, come on, dog. Please, no, please. And then I watched Beecham come back in, and I just gained so much respect for a leader like that, man. But like I said, man, we look good. We got some things to work on to clean up. I'm still scared about our cornerbacks yet. These guys haven't really been tested, man, because if you look at it, Oakland had big plays, man, that they just dropped a lot of balls. So, we aren't always going to get that lucky, especially with Cincinnati coming up. And people sleeping on Cincinnati, but old boy Ross with Cincinnati is a beast. You know what I'm saying?
Before we go to Cincinnati, listen, the Raiders did drop some passes, but sometimes you create your own luck. Earlier in the season, the Jets got no breaks for anything, whether it was penalties, bad calls, dropping their own passes, dumb things. Sometimes you create your own luck, especially when you're playing physical football. They're flying around. The play calling was much better than we've seen over the last month. I mean, to me, you got to give them credit for that. And the defense is starting to inflict their will a little bit, where you're the corners are all hitting, the safeties are hitting. They're starting to get people scared a little bit.
No, I'm not going to take nothing from them because I'm going to tell you what. But that's awesome, man. I didn't even notice, but I just realized it today. He broke old boy ribs. You know that hit when he came up and stuck number 13. He broke his ribs, and you got to give him credit for even still playing with broken. He didn't bruise ribs; he had broken ribs, cracked ribs, bro. So they've been laying the wood, man. They've been very aggressive, man. And like you said earlier, I think Greg Williams really toned in. I mean, and you got to give Greg Williams credit because he's doing so much with less. You know what I'm saying? Because you imagine Avery being out there and C.J. Mosley being out there. Man, wow. So to have these guys stepping up doing what they're doing is amazing. And I do like what I'm saying for defense, but really I think, man, the front seven for us right now with Jamal Adams adding them into that mix, that has just, man, they found something, man, where these guys are really getting at it. But these guys are holding up the point of attack too. But he's, if you notice, man, he's doing a little bit more. He didn't do a lot last game, but he was taking a lot of, he was helping with the run defense. Just hasn't turned around for the pass. But he did okay though. I mean, he's getting. I mean, I'm not gonna make any excuses for him because I wanted Josh Allen anyway. But I was happy that we got Quinnen because I think overall he's gonna be a great player. It's just gonna take him time. But right now for Cosby, these other guys, man, these guys are really playing, man. They are really playing.
You know what, Tyrone, to be honest with you, the warning signs are already there with Quinnen Williams, where he's got to get his act together. Because Adam Gase, if we learned one thing, is he's blatantly honest about players. And when they ask him about Quinnen, he doesn't give a glowing response. He's like, well, he's doing some things. We kind of expect some more. Like you could tell that he's not happy with him. So this kid's got to get into the weight room, got to get in much better shape and do something more because he's just not. You have too many other guys that are making a lot less money, making more plays.
Well, I think what happens is this, man, the one thing about Quinnen Williams and Leo, I think the two things with those players, I don't want to say this is a knock, they're too nice. You know what I'm saying? They're not nasty enough. You know what I'm saying? And I think playing with Greg Williams, you got to be a little nasty because everyone else is playing with that nastiness, and that's why these guys are so aggressive. He's just not mean. He's a nice, good kid, but we don't need a nice, good kid. We need a dog. You know what I mean? And hopefully he can. Hopefully he can develop into that. But at the same time, man, I'm liking what I'm seeing. Just like even offensive wise, man. I mean, the offensive line has played pretty good, man. I have to give them credit, man. And I think also with Sam too. I think the few mistakes Sam's made in that game is he held the ball a little too long. You know what I'm saying? But other than that, his movement in the pocket, man, has been amazing, man. He's really sliding up, and that throw to Robbie, man, that was a beautiful. That was all touch, man. Yes, man, but it was it's so weird because Sam throws balls from all weird angles. He kind of reminds you of Favre a little bit. He's never square. It's dead money. That was an amazing throw, and also just watching the guys work, and I want to see Bilal Powell get more runs too. I just think that right now with that line, I think Le'Veon he almost broke a few himself, but I think Powell, man, he just hits the hole, and I think so Le'Veon has to start doing until these guys really get comfortable. But hit the hole a little faster, man, you know what I'm saying, and pick up these chunk plays. But using Le'Veon, in the passing game, man, it's such a weapon, man. It gives us it's almost like giving us a number one receiver almost, you know what I'm saying, kind of aspect, because can't nobody cover him, man. And that one-hand grab he caught, bro, that was beautiful. Plus the play from last week, I'm excited, fellas, I really am. I mean, I'm not jumping up the deep end, but I'm happy.
Yeah, and Tyrone, I want to thank you for calling in, and you brought a lot of great stuff, but I just want to go back to Quinnen Williams for a second. Look, I understand people's frustration with him, but I think maybe our expectations were a little too high. Maybe we just need to give him time. I know a lot of people, and I heard this as well, people come on and talk about he can get an immediate impact and stuff. The kid's talented. I mean, we saw it in college. We've seen plays here and there, especially in that Cowboys game. He made a lot of plays, but we want to see more consistency out of him, and I think we'll get that going forward. Maybe next year will be the year where he comes in and really dominates, because I know a lot of people were comparing him to Aaron Donald and all these other guys. Maybe that was too much, too early. But I think next year he's really going to show us something, and he might continue to show us flashes throughout the rest of the season as well. I know you touched on Sam, man. He's out there throwing dimes and doing his thing, but I want to get your thoughts on Robbie and some of the plays that he's making out there. Man, he's jumping into the stands, celebrating with the fans, man. How do you feel about him?
I mean, I just think Robbie's coming along, man. I just think that, plays we're getting more time. we're not our offense isn't as simple as it was. So we're switching things up. So you're giving Robbie a chance to get these drag routes going across, and you having time to step up, and you having Crowder do things, and then you're being able to stretch the field. That flea flicker reverse, man, was beautiful. And that throw that Sam made was good. I think Robbie's running crisper routes, man. I think maybe Robbie got a little frustrated in the beginning because he wasn't really getting no touches. He wasn't getting target, but he wasn't complaining, man. The one thing everyone knocks on Robbie, like, what I'm saying, like, it's just so easy to let a player like that go. I think that's a mistake, man. I just think that Robbie is young enough, man, and he has talent. He just hasn't been coached. You know what I'm saying? Some guys are just so talented, they rely on their talent instead of relying on, the hard work and skill. You know what I'm saying? I think Robbie's put the work in. I think it's starting to pay off. But at the same time, man, you got to remember, this kid, Robbie's a young kid. At Rutgers, man, he didn't play all 4 years there. You know what I'm saying? He was suspended his last season. That's why he dropped. So the kid is still young, and he's early 20s. I mean, and the one thing that Robbie has, man, that you cannot coach is speed. So you imagine having another receiver that could take the pressure off, and and having a line that could hold and protect, and Sam being able to take those big shots downfield. I just think that give Robbie a little bit of time, man, and he's gonna definitely step up. You have to look at it when Quincy went down last year. Robbie just took over. You know what I'm saying? And that was beautiful. And you're watching him now, he kind of took over that game. He just kind of put his will on it, man. I think he's getting more comfortable, you know what I'm saying, with Sam. And I think this is what kills me with a lot of people are forgetting this, man. Sam had mono. So if you notice, man, like Sam is just really getting the way he would be at if he wouldn't have got sick. Just getting into that rhythm, getting into that flow, seeing the game better. The same way he finished so strong last year. It's just the fact that he got sick this year, so he missed those games. He got rushed back, and that Dallas game made him look good. But we were just a better team on that day. But I think now that we actually go on the field thinking we are the better team, and actually having that kind of excitement with the offense. You know what I'm saying? Sam is calling what he wants.
Yeah, and listen, Tyrone, and I hear you're dropping. I think a bigger part of it is that Sam has gone in there and really changed up what we were doing offensively. Because Sam's lack of production or the issues that we had offensively at first, it wasn't just about Sam, going out there and just not being successful. It was the fact that the plays, the game plan, the play calling, and lack of adjustments, that's what was killing us. I mean, we were out there against zero blitzes. We had teams literally sending the house, and we couldn't scheme our way out of that. And it's fairly easy to beat a cover zero blitz. Like we've seen other teams around the league do it, but we couldn't do that because the play calling and game planning wasn't there. There was a lack of adjustments. So I think with Sam going into Gaze's office and saying, "Hey, look, things have got to change," that's when we've seen kind of often turn the corner there. And I think a lot of people are losing sight of that. That's why Sam is wheeling and dealing, because if you look at a lot of the plays that he's making, a lot of these plays is when he's coming out the pocket, he's able to roll. We're utilizing Le'Veon Bell and his skill set now as well. These are things that we weren't doing, and these are huge things that we have this is a huge part of why we've been successful so far, is because these are what these players are brought in here to do. Robbie, like you said, earlier in the season, he wasn't being utilized the way he is now. Look at him now. This guy's getting back. He's deep shots. He's also running a different type of routes. We're putting Le'Veon in the slot again. Those are things that we needed to see from the very beginning. I think those things have changed, so that's why we're seeing, the positive effort or positive moves in production.
Well, you definitely want to give this play. You want to get the ball out of Sam's hand and let Sam get the ball to the playmakers. But when you get a chance to go downfield, but if you notice, the last couple of weeks, the line play has been better. We're running the ball better, and the play action is working better. And that's the whole thing. I think that Gaze tried to just, I think Sam was like, "Look, man, you're doing too much. Let's just slow it down. Let's pick what works for us." You know what I'm saying? And picking with your strengths and what Sam does well. Those rollout plays are always there. That's why our tight ends are looking wide open. Going with two tight end sets that and doing stuff like that. That works. And just trying to say, we're gonna line up, we're gonna run the ball down your throat. Sometimes you gotta do it like that, and just have those kind of plays. He's been more creative instead of trying to put everything on there and out-trick everybody. No, sometimes you just got to line up and play good football. And I think right now Sam is seeing the field better. He's seeing defensive better, and he's moving better in the pocket. You know, and that's all we ever wanted. Like I said, anyone that says that Sam's on a franchise quarterback or we didn't get the best quarterback in that draft, I beg to differ. And I think in time will tell the whole feel of that. I just think that, you know, for the first time in a long time, we're moving, you know, we're doing better. You know, but like I said, we beat a team that Oakland isn't as good as everyone thought they were. Their defense wasn't great. Their offense was really good, you know what I'm saying? And we held our own with that, but our defense kind of been our strength, you know what I'm saying? But the last 3 games in a row, we put up 34 points. So you don't put up 34 points without actually making some really good plays. And the last game was the first time we didn't get stagnant. We didn't get, you know, when we got to where we let the foot off the gas, and I think that they're understanding that you got to attack. You got to keep the pressure on them guys, even if it's a 3-and-out, or even if we miss a play. You know what I'm saying? We just got to adapt to that and be able to move forward with that. And as long as we continue to do that, Sam's going to get better, and the rest of the team's going to get better. You know what I'm saying? I'm not worrying about playoffs. Like you guys said, man, it's one game at a time, and that's the way these guys got to rack it up. But it feels good watching these guys fly around and be excited about what we're doing. And if everyone has noticed, Jamal picked up another half a sack. You know, I mean, he's 1.5 sacks away for setting the record as a safety. You know what I'm saying? I think he'll get a chance to get that. So, you know, it's like it has to give some credit to Gates for just doing what he do. You know what I mean? But at the same time, you know, I have to say Greg Williams has really done an amazing job, you know, of really coaching these guys up, and it truly shows how good a defensive coordinator and leader he is, man. This guy really, he knows what he's doing, man. He's putting these guys in position to win, even
Aaron,
with
I got
less.
a question for you.
Yes, sir.
I got a question for you. Now, if you were the host of this show, right, and if one of the callers was on hold, and one of the callers that you had was on hold, waiting to come on, and they started tweeting you that I'm on hold and I'm waiting, how would you handle that caller? Would you bring that caller on next or make them wait longer?
Oh, my goodness.
I'm going to be real with you, man. I don't take good to pressure, so I would probably stall that caller out. You know what I'm saying? Me, myself. But the fact that you really, the fact that you really don't like that caller, or he just aggravates you. it's like, you know, sometimes everyone's always like, why are you picking on Steve? And if anybody who doesn't listen to this show, we know that's Steve sending these messages, because it couldn't be nobody else. So, you know, it's like sometimes when y'all always jump on Tyson about, you know, why are you always picking on Steve? Sometimes Steve just opened that door and it just happens to be that way. You know what I'm saying? So, see, people don't understand Tyson. This ain't the first time. This ain't the first time, Joe. He's done. Because I've heard Tyson say this a couple times, and it's aggravating. Like, Steve, everybody's on hold, bro.
You're right. Look. Everybody, you know, gets in their own time. We don't play favorites, like you said, Tyrone. Everybody is on hold, but let's not justify what Tyson does to Steve on a weekly basis with this. Okay,
I was asking Tyrone what he would do.
You were asking for a pass to further disrespect Steve, like you do on a weekly basis on this show, and you were trying to get Tyrone to co-sign it. You know what I'm saying? I got a question though. No, I have a serious question. You know, I love. You know what? Real talk, man. All jokes aside, I do love Steve, man. Steve is my guy. Steve got my girlfriend. Steve happy. I ain't even. You know, Steve might want to get his little thing down. I don't know what Steve want to do. But I got a question though, right? So why is it when Tyrone curses, I get the plug pulled quick? Your man gets about 3 of them, boy. Y'all I
tried, man. I was trying. He didn't know any better the first time. The second curse he had to go, because I got to go edit him out.
Hey, look here, man. What about me,
know,
man?
Tyrone, if you exactly that's on purpose, because let me tell you something. Everybody knows. I love everybody. But your ass say one bad word here with me, you are gone. Okay, but that's all.
Hey, I'm sitting there like, I'm like, I be sitting there like, I remember last time Joe was like, all right, Tyrone, that's one.
Yeah.
No, but you know, but this team would get you like that.
We got dudes calling in with bunny rabbits, Tyrone. Who knows what's going on tonight? Who knows what the hell's happening?
Hey,
What the hell was that,
bro?
man?
Hey, I'm not being funny. I didn't know where he was going with that one, but I can't blame you because that was a little different right there, bro. He was like,
wherever
yeah, the bunny rabbits and Sam's on drugs and what, bro?
Wherever he was going, man, I didn't want to go. Yeah. I don't know what road or where he was going down, but I didn't want to go down that road with that guy. Once he said bunny rabbits and it's a Tuesday night, bro, what are you doing? It's time to get your ass out of here.
I'm going to need him to listen and not call in. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to need him to be one of those kind of fans. Because that was a little different, bro. I don't know, man. He might be doing something with that rabbit. I don't know, man. But
Tyrone, well, it was good talking to you. It's good to hear you happy again. And we'll talk to you later, man.
Love you guys, man. Yo, you know what we do. See y'all Friday. Let's get it. JTS, baby.
All right, Joe. Now we're going to go to your friend, Mr. Steve. What's up, Steve?
Hey, guys. What's up?
How you doing, man?
Well, first off, I like to give a shout out to Tyrone. Thank you, Tyrone, for pursuing the appreciation to me. I really appreciate it.
Shout-outs now?
But
we're doing shout-outs now. What is going on here? We're doing a shout-out?
What's wrong with that?
What is this? This is celebrity stuff.
Come on, man.
Go ahead, Steve.
It's not celebrity. He's just showing love to Tyrone, man. What's the deal?
Oh,
come on. Let him go ahead. Hey, you let her do a bunny rabbit run his mouth on here. This dude's just trying to show love to another caller. You hating on him? Come on, man. Go ahead.
Man, first off, I couldn't wait to get onto the show tonight. My God, did we kick some ass on Sunday against the Oakland Raiders. And it all started off when those goddamn Raider fans that came to MetLife Stadium on Sunday, and when the Jets entered the field, and all the Raider fans did was booing them and tell them how they sucked. Well, when the team went into the locker room, Jamal Adams literally tells the team, after the way how we were being trashed by their fans, guess what? We're going to return the favor. They came out onto the field, they took the gun out, pulled the pistol, and kicked the crap out of them. I mean, everything...
Guns and pistols? What's going on here? What happened? What's going on with this show tonight, Joe? It's
a catchphrase. It's a catchphrase, Tyson. It's a catchphrase.
So much violence.
Okay.
So then, it's just Sam was definitely throwing balls left and right down the field. I mean, the best pass I think of that game was that flea flicker pass they did, and Adam Gase definitely outcoached John Gruden in that game. The Jets held Josh Jacobs to not yards as we were supposed to do as the NFL run defense number one. And the thing that really, really impressed me the most too in that game, if I had to say the most impressive thing that happened in that game, was how the offensive line kept Sam Darnold comfortable. I mean, and I give, as you said earlier on the show tonight, Tyson, Jonathan Harris credit, from being bench and letting a veteran go in Ryan Khalil, who sucked for us, and, took it very well. I mean, he played a good game, and so did Beachum, despite the fact, that he's been banged up with both of his ankles. It was just an awesome Jet win, and it also felt so good to not give up a touchdown to a pretty good team that has a good offense. And I know that Joe had a good time trashing Raider fans out in California. So, guys, go ahead.
Well, Tyrone made a good point, too, is, when Beachum did go down, I got nervous as well. I was like, oh, no. I'm like, now...
No, I did, too.
Yeah, I mean, he's been a stabilizing force, and Jonathan Harris has been playing good. You don't want to see, that chemistry get ruined, because you can see, obviously, Sam's comfortable now, so they're playing, they're playing well. Looks like Beachum will play this weekend, which is good. Steve, were you impressed by how aggressive they stayed throughout the entire game?
It finally was, and I was watching the game with my father on Sunday, and my father even said that it was one of the best games that he ever saw the Jets actually be aggressive. And the one thing that he was impressed with, and my dad actually said this, that, Steve, your team did something today that I wish that my Green Bay Packers could do. And I said to my dad, what's that? And he said, Steve, you guys tackled very well in that game. You know, you didn't give the Raiders that much of a time, you know, to make a play down the field and all that stuff. My father even gave him credit for tackling. Now, the one thing I will say this about what Oakland did have some plays in the game, and if they did get those plays, it may have been a different ball game, but there was a couple of times in that game when one of the Raiders receivers, I think it was Tyrell Williams, there was a one play in the midway through the first quarter, I mean, when he was wide open on that play, I mean, if he doesn't drop that pass, I mean, because that was a perfect pass that Derek Carr threw. If he doesn't drop that pass, it's a ball game. My message is for Joe Douglas is, despite the fact that Jordan Jenkins is coming up as a pass rusher, we got to get another edge rusher because we get that pressure on that quarterback, man.
Yeah, and look, and I hear you, Steven. You're bringing the fire already with some great takes. You're not letting Tyson get in your way, man. But I want to get your thoughts on Greg Williams. You talked a little bit about the defense. What are your thoughts about his ability to really make adjustments and change due to the fact that, you know, there's quite a bit of injuries out there, and he's still having his defense go out there and produce?
Without a doubt this year, Greg Williams has been the best coach on the coaching staff because with all the stuff that he's gone through, you know, with the injury, he's bringing players, you know, left and right with all these young players. I mean, as Tyson says, it feels good, you know, having the young players go out there and, you know, getting their chances. I'll tell you one thing. I take Les Austin and Arthur Millette any day over that garbage-ass corner that we paid $72 million that he could take it with them, angry, and Nate Harrison.
Whoa. Steve is so angry. Steve, I have a question for you. You're so angry tonight.
I'm not angry.
How long did the Jets recently made Demaryius Thomas a captain, replacing Rontez Miles, who's out? Can you see the Jets re-signing Demaryius Thomas?
I do. I mean, because Demaryius Thomas seems to be happy with the team, and him and Sam seem to have a good connection. I would see Demaryius Thomas being re-signed, but I would probably see him be re-signed on a one-year deal.
Okay. Steve, good job tonight, man. So your overall mindset of this team, your overall feeling on this team is what?
Listen, I'm just going to say this right now, and everybody was all saying this, and it was all over social media. Here is the thing. The Jets are not going anywhere this year. There's no playoffs happening this year. But as long as this team gives this every single game, and we compete every single game, and, we always, give it, a good game, that's what I care about. But the thing is, it's a build on to get ready for next season for 2020.
Okay. Steve, good call, man. Thanks for calling in. We appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Good night.
Ooh. All right, we're going to go to Ronaldo in New York. Ronaldo, what's up, man?
Finally! My goodness, what's up, boys?
How you doing, man?
I'm doing great. I wasn't even going to call in today. And then I saw you guys post something on Twitter. I was like, you know what? I'm feeling good today. Jets won 3 in a row. Keep it going.
So what are you most encouraged about? Is it the play of Sam Darnold? Is it the defense flying around? What do you enjoy the most right now?
What I'm enjoying the most is seeing just how truly pathetic Tremaine Johnson was and seeing how terrible Darryl Roberts is. I mean, this defense, forget Sam Darnold, because we all know who Sam Darnold is and who he's going to be. That's set in stone. We know the guy has amazing talent. But these sorry excuse for football players, Tremaine Johnson, Andrew Roberts, I mean, this defense just went from, this is a top 10 defense. In all seriousness, this should be a top 10 defense. those two corners right there, just let it all fall away. They need to get robbed. Someone needs to rob them, get the money they stole from the Jets back, and they need to put it into bringing us better corners because they're the reason our defense was terrible. It was honestly a joy to see how good we are now.
Yeah, and I want to thank you for calling in. Look, even with all that stuff, man, those guys are going out there and playing hard, but Quentin Williams, a lot of fans are banging on him. They're not thinking he's getting enough production. What are your thoughts on that?
I think it's just too crowded right now. I just think the defensive line is too crowded. Sure, he's the number 3 overall pick, but come on, the guy has obvious talent. It's just that we have too many guys that are like, and he's clogged up doing stuff at linebackers and shit. Like people have been saying that, like, oh, he's been like having to like do stuff.
Oh, family show. Watch
him.
the cursing, man. Family show.
Oh, my bad. We're all human. We make
mistakes. What's going on tonight?
My bad.
This show is chaos tonight. What is going on? Oh my God!
I mean,
Ronaldo, what are your thoughts?
I mean, it's new.
What are your thoughts on the play of Jordan Jenkins and Brian Poole? Would you consider trying to re-sign those guys because they're both playing pretty well?
I think Jordan Jenkins is a little overrated. I think he's playing harder because it's a contract year. Brian Poole, I know for
overrated.
He's a star.
Full timeout.
I think he's overrated. Yeah.
How is Jordan Jenkins overrated? His sack numbers are going up
No.
every year.
The Jets are going to overrate him. The Jets are going to overrate him. Just like they overrated Andrew Robinson. Maybe not, because we have Joe Douglas now, a competent GM, so who knows?
How could you overrate Jordan Jenkins? The guy, he gets better every year. He's reliable. He doesn't get hurt. Well, he does get hurt, but he's been consistent.
But do you want Jordan Jenkins, or do you want like a true edge rusher, like someone who's
Why not have
legit?
both? Why not have both?
Why not have both? Winning teams can't. Oh, maybe they did have both. I don't know if he's a team-friendly deal. You don't think he's going to want a team-friendly deal?
Ronaldo, are you answering your own questions? Joe, what's going on?
I'm a little off it. I'm a little, off the green leaves right now. I'm sorry.
Oh my God!
Have a good night, man. Joe, I let him go. Joe.
Well, people party in different ways. You know what I'm saying? And, we got Bunny Rabbit. He's, experiencing nature, and, on his side. So, this is a crazy show. But, people are firing up. I think that's what this shows. Steve's toting pistols. He's letting them off. He said, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Everyone's just excited about where this team is, where they could possibly go. And I don't think anyone. Yeah, there's some fans out there that are screaming about the playoffs and stuff and screaming about possible Super Bowls, but a lot of people that are calling in tonight are just saying, hey, we're going game by game, and they're just excited to what they see. So shout out for him for, calling in. I just, be safe and do your thing.
Yeah, I think the really cool thing would be if they find a way to win on Sunday, and it's like, dude, that Dolphin game, that home game against the Dolphins will be chaos. Because it's just revenge. It'll be all the animosity. That'll be a lot of fun. But obviously, the Bengals, you can't look past them. You can't really look past anything. But Joe, when you look at this team, it's interesting because we mentioned there's so many players that you want to give new contracts to. We went through 6, 7 guys. Everyone's like, yeah, extend them. It's pretty wild when you think about it. We're 3 weeks ago. We're like, oh, this team sucks and the roster's terrible. So it's like, is the roster terrible or is the roster good?
No, I don't think that. Well, most fans, or I'll speak for myself. I didn't think that the roster was totally sucked. I think that we had issues at positions of impact. When you look at corner, when you look at pass rush, when you look at the O-line, those are the issues that we had. If you look at the offensive driven league that we have, what do? You pay the guy that throws the ball, you pay the guys that protect the guy that throws the ball, and you pay the guy that chases the guy that throws the ball. That's literally how great teams are built. They're usually good at those 3 positions. And so, we have a great quarterback in Sam Darnold, but his play was being impacted by bad play calling and lack of adjustments, but also by our issues up front on our offensive line. And then we also lacked a pass rusher. So those things are what we saw get exploited in game to game. And so, I think if we spend at those positions, and of course we still need to, figure out the cornerback position, there will be a better football team, at least talent-wise. But there's some guys that you could definitely re-sign that have had some impact. Poole is one of those guys. That's a guy we were talking about. We were all hoping that Tremaine Johnson would turn it around. We saw what happened with him. I don't know if we'll get rid of him in the offseason because there's a lot of dead money on that situation. So he might actually just be back because you can't get rid of him. But Poole is the guy you should definitely look to resign. Jordan Jenkins was a guy coming into the season that I was talking about. I said he might lead our team in sacks because we don't have a pass rusher. And, lo and behold, he's one of the guys that's up there. He's up there, towards the team leaders in sacks, and he's putting on. So there's some guys that we can definitely highlight to bring back here because, they're showing up and they're showing out.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see how Joe Douglas handles this. It's just there's some legitimate playmakers and good locker room guys and guys that are on the rise. It isn't like in years past where we have all these guys that are like 30 and over. These are all young players that are all, that have earned it, and they're building chemistry together. So it's interesting, man.
I mean, he to me, I think Joe Douglas, he's going to have to resign some of the guys that we have coming up. I mean, Brian Poole is no spring chicken, you know what I'm saying? But there's definitely some guys that we can look at and bring back. But I think what he's
Hewitt,
really
Jordan Jenkins.
Yeah, Hewitt, Jordan Jenkins, those guys. Yeah, those guys are young enough, and to definitely get a contract and be here for years to come. But where he's really going to make his bones is how he's going to use the draft to build his football team. I think that's where we're really going to figure out what kind of GM he is, because we are void of talent in quite a bit of spaces, and he's got to figure this out soon. Because again, the clock just keeps on ticking on that rookie deal for Sam. So you got to find a way to build this football team until you have to pay him. So we're going to see what he does. And also, how he wills and deals in free agency, because there could be some free agents out there that we could end up bringing in as well. Sheriff, that could really help us too. So we'll see what happens.
As always, first of all, we want to thank all the callers tonight. This show was complete chaos. We got it was a bit wild. But before we wrap things up, tonight was nuts. Instagram and Twitter @TalkJetsRadio. Check us out on YouTube. Let's Talk Jets Radio. Be sure you subscribe. Leave us feedback, comments. We do our best to interact with everybody, and we want to thank everybody. Like I said earlier, it's pretty crazy when we get messages from like South Korea and stuff, and Korea, men in the military. So if we can entertain you, first of all, thank you for your service, including you, Joe. But we have soldiers that are messaging us saying, "Hey, man, you guys are giving us Jets news overseas." It's an honor that you watch us, and thank you. And it's pretty wild, dude. So that's it. I mean, it's pretty. I was just shocked to read some of those messages, man. It's just insane. To be honest with you.
It is. It's always, I want to thank everyone, in the military for listening, and I want to thank y'all for your service. I was out there. I know what it's like. I know it's tough. Believe me, being away from your family and just dealing with, some of the stuff you gotta do and some of the stuff you gotta deal with. So shout out to you folks, and just to our overseas audience as a whole. Everyone over there, thank you for listening to us. I always say without you people we're nothing. That's absolutely true. And I just want to thank just everybody in general for listening to us. I really, love and enjoy every single caller, every single listener we get, people that go back and forth with on social media, people that watch our videos as well that go back and forth with. I love speaking to all you folks, connecting, and really exchanging opinions about this football team.
Yeah, so as we wrap things up, thank you to great callers tonight. This was completely wild. And most importantly, happy Thanksgiving to everybody. I mean, the football is fun to talk about, but enjoy time with family and friends. It's a very fun time of year to enjoy those kind of things. So happy Thanksgiving, everybody. And Joe, it's been 2 hours of complete bedlam. It is your time to shine.
Yes, listen, I'm the man of the people. I'm here for the people. Let me shamelessly promote our Facebook page. Everyone go on Facebook, search Let's Talk Jets Radio. Like that page, our content's up there. Go ahead and give it a listen. Message us. We'll message you right back. We love going back and forth with folks about this football team. Also, leave us some feedback. We love hearing about you folks think we do here on Let's Talk Jets Radio. I'm also on Twitter as well at YoungJ000. That's 3 zeros. Go ahead and follow me. I'll follow you right back. You want to troll me? No issues. I'm the troll that is under the bridge. I will troll you right back, and I will have my Darnold jersey on the entire time. He is playing crazy right now. He's on fire. So I'm extremely excited about that. I'm also on YouTube as well at YoungJ00. That's 2 zeros on YouTube, 3 on Twitter. Do videos about the Jets. I'll continue that throughout the entire season. I also do a weekly pick-up, so I'll talk about other teams on my channel as well. So go ahead and subscribe to my content. If you want to troll me on there as well, no issues. I'll troll you right back. So comment, and we'll go back and forth. And as always, folks, when you see me in person, it is arms out, chest open. Really, bruh? Really? On a show like this? Dude, I will send Steve with them pistols to you. All right, you better watch how you click on that button, show me the money, all right? I'll have that dude show up in your backyard with them bunny rabbits, all right? Don't do that.
I'll send you a bunny rabbit.
You know what I'm saying? Man, all right. You know what I'm saying? you know what I'm saying? Don't get crazy. You know what I'm saying? The people, they're not going to stand for it because they know that you're a liar, all right? You're an absolute liar. That's not the truth. When people see me in person, all right, it is arms out, chest open, free hugs for everyone, okay? I want to thank you folks for listening. Without you people, we're absolutely nothing. Thank you for taking the time out of your days to sit back, listen to us, and call in. You people are the absolute best. And again, we want to thank Nadine Rosenbaum-Lehrer for calling in, sharing, all of her knowledge about the fight against hunger. Everyone, go to cfbnj.org. Help someone get their next meal. Holidays are here. Please help people. They're really looking, again, for their next meal around the corner. And, hey, happy Thanksgiving to everyone. Enjoy your times with your family. Sit down and have a good time.
Enjoy your holiday. We'll be back Friday night to talk about how the Jets are going to beat the Bengals' ass, which will be 4 in a row on the way to 5 in a row. So enjoy your holiday. We'll talk to you then.